Yeah, welcome to a Mission Impossible special, and we're here live in Tarapoto in a second shop here called Shadow. It's actually the shop that designed and built the T-shirts, so that's pretty cool. And they are understanding the GANs. So too, we've got Carlos over here from the Zener Electrical, and we have got a packed house here. We've got Dan Eklund from GG Trust, who might want to come and have a little word about the GG Trust. And then we've got Angela with Hilner Etna, and we've got Dr. Darko, Donald, and we've got another engineer, I get Roosevelt. So we've got a couple of engineers here. As we start packing up the room, there's only 8 people in the room at the moment. I expect that to go a little larger. And what we're going to do today is we're going to build the bobbins, do the GANs, and learn about nano coating, those 3 things. And we've got we've made the bobbins, so we're going to be pulling them out and showing you in a minute and discussing them. But I would like to introduce to you people who do not know Marinith. I'd like to bring Marinith on, please. Hi, Marinith.
Hello. Hello.
Welcome to a Mission Possible special from Peru. And you look fantastic in India, aren't you? You're in India.
And India pampers me a lot. So,
well, it's always
everyone, yeah.
It's always a pleasure seeing you. Donald can't see. Okay, thanks.
So you were saying about the great news.
Well, you're a bringer of great news, and just for everyone who doesn't know, there's a lot of people in here who don't know you. You do a lot of work in the jungle. I've worked with you on one of your projects in the jungle with the animals. That was an absolute amazing experience, and we've got a little problem there, and we're trying to iron that out. And I was speaking to Cordillera Escalera, Caesar, and you know him, don't you? So tell us a little bit about what you do in the jungle when you were in Peru, but you're now in India.
Right. Back in 2006, I co-founded a animal rescue center in Yurimaguas, in an area where there is a lot of animal trafficking, wild fauna. So I met this amazing guy who was rescuing all kinds of animals in his house. So we gathered like a beautiful group of people who wanted to help to make it like legal, so we could get aid, and also we could confiscate animals with the help of the police. So we started back then, and then in 2010 we moved to Cordillera Escalera, where the animal center currently is right now. And this last time I was in Peru, back in 2014, I met other associations that are doing the same work, starting managing fauna. So I was helping them to be a mediator, like for the government, local government, so that they get the basic support that they need, the basic implementation to do their work. So that's what I've been doing, and I met Dave, and Dave helped me out also. I mean, he did amazing volunteering, building facilities we didn't have, like an eco toilet. So, and well, even if I'm here, you know, there's like I continue like giving volunteering, getting volunteers for them, now also for Mission Possible in Peru, and also for the other associations, no?
Now, a very important aspect here is that you know about corruption in governments, and especially in Peru, don't you? And there's a certain avenue that you take. Can you tell us a little bit about
that? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like we don't have, we don't have the right people many times in this high positions in the government. But unlike Cordillera Escalera is changed, the new administration is pretty good. I could meet the new director of the environmental affairs. He's pretty good. He's very proactive.
And that's Caesar, is it?
No, I mean, I think Cesar is in other side of the, or Cesar is there right now?
No, Cesar's not here. But what he did was he came into our office and I said to him, okay, we got 6 bits of stuff to show you. Biochar, plastic colloidal, colloidal silver for people who don't speak Spanish, and EM ceramics, and the new free energy, and the metaphysics, how you work and stuff. There's the 6 stuff. And he went, wow, I'm coming back with my staff next week. So, you know, we had an impact on him.
So that I mean, you're getting new people in these positions which is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that has to do also with the great news. I was going to tell a problem people here already know about it. Last week or 2 weeks back, we got a new national park in Peru, and this is an amazing. It's a fabulous area, pristine primary forest, 1,300,000 hectares.
Wow.
For protection, and it's in an area in Peru where it's gonna join another national park in Brazil. So you're gonna have this fabulous corridor of wild fauna, flora, and under protection, because before all this area was not, so it was even more vulnerable to illegal mining, to logging. I mean, now under that status, you know, it's at least you can, you know, you can sue the prosecutors if someone does, you know, it's not as vulnerable. I mean, and it's a great area because there is another national park also in that same area. So you have like massive forests down there, no? So it's
just to give us all an idea about what you're talking about in size. Tell us how big boy, we've been in it. How big is the Cordillera Escalera in comparison?
I mean, Cordillera Escalera is 150,000. 55 or 50. I mean, almost 160,000 hectares, which is also a large forest. And the interesting thing is, like, you have Tarapoto, an emerging city right down there, and you have the Cordillera right in the back. So if Tarapoto becomes green, it's going to be an example, you know, for all these other places where you have small towns growing, you know, alongside all these protected areas. So that's the idea, you know, that's the only way that we can live, you know, in harmony.
Well, you're talking about a place that's 10 times bigger than the Cordillera Escalera. You know, it's fantastic. So, I mean, hats off to everyone who's arranged that. That's fantastic news. And, you know, what we're doing here, we've got the micro and the macro here with Dan Eflin. Just to let you know, Marie-Neith, and you can have a little chat with him now because he cleans countries. That's his brief. Dan.
Wow.
Great work, what you're supposed to say, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like I was telling Dave, I'm gonna be there in the Zoom room to represent the uneducated yet in these technologies public. I mean, like I would like you guys to illustrate me how this is about, and also, you know, to spread the word about it.
Mm-hmm.
Marie-Neith Daco. Hi. Is there anyone to talk to about health? We are talking about technologies upcoming. I have technology that can clean and heal the whole Peru in 3 months. And nobody wants to talk, nobody wants to know about it. So is there any politician worth talking to?
I mean, but I mean, let's disclose. I mean, we have to know, reveal this information. We want to know, next month I'm going for a project as an artist. I'm going to do a tribute for the lost fauna and flora. I'm gonna draw them, and it's an art festival to raise awareness because it's taking place on a river, dead river, and so we want to revive the river also. So that's why, guys, we all want to really know all about this. We need to spread the word. We need to be familiar with this knowledge. So please, Darko and both doctors, enlighten us, really, please. We're all ears.
Okay, well, Dan, you've got some issues with projects that you'd like to probably put over. The Mercury seems to be the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, we have. We're working with the government of Piura, which is a state in northern Peru, to help them to. They have a hydroelectric plant that it's silted up. Lots of silt has come down from the mountains, and most of that silt has been disrupted by the miners, the artisanal miners who use mercury in their mining projects. So there's 1 billion cubic meters of silt that have come and blocked up this hydroelectric plant, and that needs to be cleaned and moved so that they'll be able to use the plant more effectively. But they don't even think about the mercury, because apparently all the mining labs will not report mercury. They'll report how much gold's in there, how much copper and silver and platinum is in the soil when they send it in, but they don't touch mercury because the government doesn't want to know about it, basically. So we have taken samples from the area. We can visibly see mercury in the soil, so we know that the amounts are huge. So we have been coming up with technologies to clean the mercury. There's actually enough gold using new and safe and non-toxic technologies to remove the gold from the silt. There's enough gold in the silt to pay for all the technologies in Peru and all the technologies that my group, GG Trust, has in all the world. There's just that much. But we have to take the mercury out before we can release that soil back into nature.
And John, you've got a look or a start on looking into how to do that. Is that right?
Yes, I've put some inroads into the Keshe Foundation. They have a technology that is available. It's brand new. It was invented it was brought out for cleaning up the radioactivity in the oceans. It could be modified for media remediation. Essentially, you're making a magnet for mercury, and it'll draw the mercury right out of the environment for miles and miles around. Wow. I've put some questions into the Keshe Foundation. I haven't received any replies yet. Please understand, we are insanely busy with the peace process right now, and it might take several months for this to come out. But if I understand the project correctly, it's going to be several months before we're ready to move ahead on that desilt project anyway. Mm-hmm. But there is the availability there, and for the existing mining, what's going on right now, they can replace mercury with borax, and it works just as well, and it's non-toxic, and it's benign to the environment. So
well, that's sort of, John, that's going back to this guy this morning that came into my office, and he says, I live out in the middle of Peru, and you know, by where Marianith was in Iquitos, and he had 15 people in the village, and he's got 2 rivers that are full of petrol from the petrol workshop. And I was absolutely disgusted with this, but I said to him, the only way you can do it is get our units, take them there, and show the petrol company that you're no good. We do not need you. You can go now, and we'll clean the place up. Because you know, we need to get rid of these, Marinique, we need to just get rid of these illegal mining. It's all illegal, isn't it?
Right. So we have in both cases apply the same thing, like in Piura and in near Iquitos. What's the cleaning methods? Are you using the same technology for both? For because one is oil spill, I think that's happening near Iquitos, and then in Piura you have mercury. So I'm asking you guys, do you use the same technologies?
Well, for the mercury, it's going to be something completely different. For the rivers, right off the bat, what they can do is make large biochar rafts and float them in the river, and that will absorb a lot of the contamination within the river itself. And it's not going to solve the problem, but it's certainly going to mitigate it to a large extent. What Dave is talking about with the other technologies, those are a long-term solution because it's going to take quite a while to get all of the vehicles off of gasoline and onto the plasma energy.
Right.
So right away, biochar, EM, ceramics, there's even bacteria that will eat the petroleum products. That's a new kind of technology that's out, and it hasn't really been looked at as far as environmental impact in a large way. So I wouldn't really suggest going that route, but it is available. But the EM, the biochar, if you make 200 pounds of biochar, put it in a big net and float it in the river, and then replace it every week. Just take it and you could burn it, or send it back to the people who are making gasoline and say, here's your product back. Let them deal with it. But it would absorb a lot of the contamination, the oils, the petroleum products, and that right out of the water itself, and it would help immediately to start cleaning it up.
And that's very easy to do, isn't it, John? I mean,
it's so easy to do.
Well, we're actually doing that in our house, in the volunteers' house right now. And Donald, I don't know if you've got any contribution on this.
Well, we used to do the same thing in the Middle East, and oil was a big problem. So what we did, we had a very strong heavy lift pump. We used to take the water, take it through a matrix, which broke it down into several different. You could see what was coming out. It was quite easy to see. But and then we treated it. We had a ship with a treatment plant on it, and we used to just literally change the water from this disgusting stuff again and nice stuff going out the back. We got most of the petroleum products out of it.
You're talking about a massive area as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, like sort of something that Dan's talking about in Piura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the road down, the main road going down the coast was 1,000 kilometers. 1,000-kilometer coastline, and we're working all the way down there. And we had turtles and everything dying because of the oil.
Yeah.
And that was cleaned up in 5 years.
Wow. So here we go.
A lot
you know.
of work, so.
Well, anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Sorry, Angela wants to have a word.
Yes.
And you spoke with her the other day, Marinique. So here's Angela.
Good morning again. I would like to go back to a question that Dr. Darko posed, and that is, and I understand if you're not wanting to name names, but would you email some contacts that we can have in order to address the same toxicity on the human level that is on the level of Pachamama and into the fauna and flora, because we're having an awareness that many hospitals are being built. Well, people who have investment money are not going to invest in hospitals if they're not knowing that there's going to be a significant financial return. So my point is that they are recognizing that bodies are becoming toxic as a result of the environment, and therefore what Dr. Darko is proposing is that he can clean the bodies of Tarapoto, the human population, the same way we are going to attempt to clean the fauna and flora and the rivers and the soil and the air. So are you willing to either privately address that, or you can do it now by giving us names and contact people that would work with Dr. Darko?
Honestly, I don't. I mean, I don't know who will be. I think the Ministry of Health, the wing of Ministry of Health there in Tarapoto will be the right. I think the Idonius institution. I cannot think of in that way. I mean, I deal more with the environment. Really, I don't know about the hospitals that.
Politicians are put in places by the money, for the money, and they will only serve their masters. It's useless to talk to them because they will just shut it off, shove it in a corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know that how the system works, don't you, Marinette? You know.
Well, how about if we just have everybody think about who we could contact, who has a contact. Maybe if we don't have a direct contact, we can have an indirect contact. Somebody who knows somebody who's related to somebody.
Maybe Angela, Darko, and Dan should go and meet your sister, Jane, Dr. Jane.
Yeah, but she's right now she's not in Peru. She's not. She's in US.
Okay.
But I can ask her. But
maybe she knows somebody who knows somebody.
It's worth doing some work on it, because if they're not listening, you see, you know what the problem is here. The worst thing you can put in your mouth is a cooked banana, and that's what it's traditional food here, and they've all got the bellies to prove it, and that's the nastiest, unhealthiest thing you can do to yourself is eat one of those.
Well, the other is drink the water, eat the food, and breathe the air, because the water, the food, and the air are all toxic. They're toxic with chemicals, or petrochemicals, or mercury, or Roundup, or any of the fungicides, any of those.
Yeah,
all
because
chemicals kill sooner or later, and those who are in charge of writing prescriptions or permitting those products to be used here are, they're working for the people that we know are not for our best and highest good.
And the other thing is that when we saw a sign the other day in Morales, the other city side to the Tarapoto, and it had all these brand names of stuff. They were all linked direct to Monsanto, even though Monsanto's banned from Peru. So, they're getting in the back door, and we've got to just stamp this out somehow, And the corrupt side of the government will be supporting that, because above that, there was the Department of Agriculture. I mean, it just shows you whose side they're on.
Yes, so we have a clean river, and we have a clean soil, and we've saved the monkeys, but all the people are dead.
Yeah, but the other thing is, like you're saying, I mean, the authorities are very corrupt, so we have also to find a way how not to to reach the public, I mean, without depending on need, on them, because I cannot think of a good politician actually in Peru, or someone who could do. I don't know. Nothing comes to my mind. Actually, there is a good candidate, presidential candidate, Veronica. That's her name, Veronica Mendoza. And I really hope that she wins the elections. But then another leaders, and so I was thinking through media, Facebook. Tarapoto people use a lot Facebook, and if you can start, they have been changing a lot. I mean, now in the last 10 years, the diet changed. For example, I mean, many people started looking for making their own milk from almonds and all in Tarapoto. There are vegetarian restaurants, which was unthinkable. I mean, because people would not like to eat salads and those things, for example. So I think thinking we could seriously consider social media to to start telling people about the right diet and all what it happens when they boil a banana or fry a banana and eat it. They don't know that. I mean,
they say, oh, you can't say that to us because it's tradition. You can't change that, and that's where they come from. And this is the this is the brick wall that Darko and Dan and Hilno run into, and obviously Angela. You know, it's traditional. Everywhere you go, every meal you get one slapped on it. And for me, you know, it's I see it in the stomachs of the women.
But the same way rice was introduced to our diet. I mean, the same way you can you can offer alternatives. That's the thing. They don't know what is bad. I mean, they don't know why they should not be eating it. But once you tell them, at least they know, and it's up to them to carry on with their own diet, or say, oh no, better prefer eating this and this because this. I think, like I said, I mean, if they could at least know, things start changing.
Okay, well, listen, Marianita, it's very good that we've been talking about health, actually, because what happens with the GANs and the what we're going to start doing in a minute, we're going to be making GANs and showing how to, or we're going to be learning how to nano coat and make GANs. So with our bobbins that we've made, and we want to ask a couple of questions because this. John, if you can come in, all this leads to health, doesn't it? And I'd like you to explain to us how, if we make these free energy machines, how do they affect our health?
Well, the energy field that they create is life. It's the energy of everything. When the plasma reactor is ready to go, what it's outputting is the raw material for everything. And depending upon how you set up interactions determines what you're going to get out of it. Both Vivek, a friend of mine in Singapore who's on the call, and myself, we both have GANs in our room, and our diet has changed just because of that. The energy that the GANs, the CO2 GANs is emitting is basically feeding us. And I'm down to 5 or 6 meals a week. Vivek, his diet has dropped dramatically just by, he has CO2 GANs pads on his bed and he sleeps on them. And he just, basically, you just don't get hungry. You've got lots of energy. There's no adverse health effects from this stuff.
Well, that's what Darko's line is going to be, is breatharian, and Angela just said it. So you're talking about this stuff moves you into breatharian.
Well, I suppose, but I wouldn't put a label on it. I would simply say that all of our energy that we get, whether it's food energy or any of the energy that the human body absorbs, it all comes from the sun. Now, the sun shines on the earth. We have plasma interactions, which creates the different wavelengths of light, which the plants absorb. They create their fruits and their leaves and whatever else. The animals eat that. We eat the plants, and the animals convert that back into energy and use that for our lives. All we're doing is reducing the conversion processes. Where instead of taking the converted plasma energy that's coming off of the sun and out of the soul or out of the universe and hitting this planet, creating all of the flora and fauna that's on here, we're just taking that energy directly. So we don't have to convert it anymore.
So what are you telling me? When I put GANs in here, what am I making?
You're making an energy. When you put GANs in that and spin it, you're creating a dynamic energy field of the same energy that allows you to be conscious, the same energy that creates a tree, the same energy that creates fish and birds.
So is that a sun?
Yes.
So I've created a sun. That's what you're telling me. And it's this tetrahedron that goes, and I haven't got one here. I've got one in the office. But the tetrahedron is a four-sided triangle, and the tetrahedron in Platonic solids represents fire, which is the sun. So basically, the GANS in there is creating a mini micro sun. Is that correct, John?
Essentially, actually, there's trillions and trillions of suns. You're creating an entire universe in that little ball. And the interaction of all of those little teeny tiny suns that's emitting out of that ball.
Wow. That's
Now,
very understandable now, that.
Yeah, the tetrahedron, if you look at Nassim's work, Nassim Haramein's work, it's representative of one side of this. It's representative of the collapsing side, the gravitational side, the side that's traveling from the universe down to singularity. Whereas a sphere is representative of the magnetical side, or the side that's going from a singularity out into the universe. And both of these are required. You're going to wind up with a constant loop of energy that's traveling both in and out at the same time. And when you take several of these fields and interact them together, you can create anything. We've already had star reactors in labs that people have set up and let them run overnight, and they get up in the morning and there's stuff on the walls and there's puddles on the floor. This interaction of fields creates matter.
Wow. And just moving slightly on, because if I've created a sun, why am I surrounding it by this copper that's not nanocoated? It's going to be nanocoated copper. First question, how does this work? I mean, we don't know.
This is what the device you have in your hand is, an interface. Or it's a device to take the energy fields and convert them into a usable product that we can use with our existing devices today.
Excuse me.
Okay,
we seem to have moved into the technology.
Right.
So we would like to have this translated now.
Translated to
Spanish.
What's going to happen is, and it automatically happens, we start, because we've got Alter Energy inside the room. Alter Energy is in Colombia. He's been doing GANS for 5 years. He will start translating it for...
Hola, Abe. ¿Cómo está todo?
That's what will happen. So when I learn something, Alter Energy, can you come in, please?
Hola, hola. Sí, habla Alter.
Can I mention your name?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
John. Hi.
It's nice to get you and Marie-Neve together, and it's always a pleasure to have you and JC together. What we're going to try and do now, which we're going to attempt the impossible, is to start asking these amazing questions and convert it over to Carlos and the engineers here in Spanish. Is that something you can do, Sergio?
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo van? Estuve ausente hace 2 semanas. Bueno, y pues bueno, ya retomamos aquí la cuestión. Yo también ya me voy a poner a hacer las coils. Ya es el lugar donde encontrar el alambre sin necesidad de pelarle ningún cable. Es mucho más económico que el que tiene una cobertura tanto de esmalte como un polivinil o bueno, cualquier tipo de plástico. Y bien, ¿cómo van allá? Me imagino que ya tienen anocoteadas las coils y ya le están midiendo vatios y pues me imagino.
Sergio, one moment please, can we just catch up with you in English?
No entiendo mucho.
Marie-Neve?
He wants to know if you guys already have nano-coated, how everything is going there, you got the right wires, because he's trying
okay, sorry Sergio, no entiendo tu español, tu colombiano.
Ok. No, pero no, lo más general que puedo hablar.
We haven't nano-coated, as you can see. We haven't nano-coated, but we are about to nano-coat, but we're not ready for nano-coating just yet. We need to convert John's instructions to Spanish to Carlos and the engineer here so that they understand how we go about the connection. If I was to ask Sergio, John, what more do I need to do to this?
Well,
Sí.
we need to connect all those 8 wires together, so you only have 2 left. And it's kind of important how you put them together. It's not too terribly difficult. I'm not aware if Sergio is familiar with the connections of this specific device or not. If he is, he would be probably better off explaining it to the folks that are doing it.
Sergio, ¿conoce cómo hace las conexiones de esto?
Hay instrucciones muy explícitas tanto en inglés. Sí, en inglés hay un tipo que está subiendo muy seguido los videos y explica, o sea, es muy explícito. O sea, uno nomás necesita verlo, ni oírlo. Yo hice una boinilla como pequeña con las mismas conexiones, pero solo usando un alambre, un hilo.
It might be better that John shares the screen and puts up the picture. Thank you. Puts up the picture of the connection. Have you got a good picture, John?
I'm just bringing it up right now, and I'll have it for you in just a sec.
Because I do pictures. I only do pictures.
Yeah, I like pictures myself.
Dave, si quieres, si quieres, pues, bueno, a los de al fondo para que me entiendan también. Sí, esa es la conexión oficial.
I've got that in Spanish here, so
Looks like a brain.
Dan says it looks like a brain.
So, okay, let me go through this with you, Dave.
Yeah.
Just so you can see it. Can you see my cursor on the screen? Let me get an arrow in here instead. Yeah. Okay. This little black circle right here.
Sorry, John. I'm just explaining to the shop owner here, the engineer, that we explica esto en inglés primero y después Sergio o Mariniz o Hilnaretna converta esto en español. Pero
Sí,
tengo los detalles en español. ¿Tienes una copia de esto?
¿Tiene una copia?
Sí.
No, are you asking if he wants a copy or if he has a copy?
¿Quieres una copia en español?
Sí. Quiere una copia.
Oh, okay. So, ¿tienes un stick? USB? Right, we're going to go and get one, all of this copied out, so in Spanish, so that these guys can understand how the connection goes. Marinith, this is the first time you've ever seen this. I'd like you to ask some questions. You obviously don't know anything about this, so what's your first question? Because it's better that we make sure you understand it.
I mean, so guys, you have this red magnetical coil represents one wire, and the black one represents the other one, right?
Yes, those are 2 of the coils that we create. The red one is on the outside, the black one goes on the inside, and there's 2 different lengths. The inside coil, the small coil here, these are 80 turns. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Is there no 80 turns? No, what that means?
There's 80 coils.
Okay.
in the length, and the one on the outside is 160 coils.
Okay.
Okay. We went through this last what was it, 2 weeks ago, because last week we couldn't get a show happening. It just the bandwidth was so bad. And they're not absolutely critical. If you're out a turn or 2, I don't think it's really going to make a lot of difference. But what's really important, what we're going over today, is how to hook these 4 coils together.
With the gravitational coil, right?
Yes. You come into the gravitational of the small coil. It goes around, and it comes out the other end. The other end is a long wire, which feeds, it's this blue wire, which feeds again through it again, and then comes out, and then that feeds the gravitational of the outside coil, which goes around twice, where it comes out here, that feeds into the outside or the magnetical coil, but going in the opposite direction. So the magnetical is going to go around this direction, and then the output, the other end of this, feeds to the outside magnetical coil, which comes around, and then you have your output. And that's it's important that when you hook these wires together, they don't actually cross and touch. They need to have some space between them. So you need to think about how you're hooking the wires together so that you have a little bit of room around each wire. Every connection you make needs to be twisted together, and the twists need to go the same direction as the coils are wound. Dave will understand what I mean by that.
So how's the magnetic coil in Peru going on?
They're getting ready to actually do these wiring connections. We can't see your video unless I stop the screen share, Dave.
Okay, it's whether I'm up on the top or not.
But have you got a hard copy of this?
I'm trying to sort it out now, but your screen share has taken over my computer, so I can't.
Yeah, but if you've got it on a piece of paper, if you can print one out so that you can have one to hold in your hand there, then I won't have to share my screen.
Hilna Retner's asked a question. She said, isn't there a video on this showing you how to connect it?
No, not yet. It's really hard to make the video because, well, let me stop my screen share and I'll show you the coil that I have here. I have to turn my camera back.
We got to get this over in Spanish as well now, and
yes.
So therefore we need someone to fully grasp it that's bilingual, and then turn it into Spanish.
Yes, but okay, there. If you can see that, it's hard to make a video to show how that works.
I think it's better than talking.
Well, yeah, what Hilna's saying is, and I agree with her because I'm like puddle-headed, is that what you've got there and what you're showing there, and then if you let me come in and I'll show you what I've got. I've got. What happens if
Ask John to.
Right. We're going to take a photograph of that, John. So do that again. The Peruvian engineers are going to photograph it.
Okay.
So, yeah. No. Hang on. I've got to turn it over to speaker view. Right. I'm shut up. Hey, look. Speak, John.
There we go.
There you go.
If you notice, where the ends of the wires are, they're all turned back on themselves.
Do you understand that, Donald? Do you understand it?
Tell me now.
He's going to take Donald's going to take a picture of it now.
Glutes here are very important.
Thanks. Get it in that close-up mode. Better picture now. See how that came out.
For the sake of connections, would it be too difficult or time-consuming for you to make a small schematic of it using different color wires and then show connections with these different color wires? Because like this is very difficult to trace the wire.
There is a schematic on the Keshe blueprints.
Yes, that's what I was showing on my screen. And what I can do is I can annotate the screen and I can draw over top of that as we go so that you can see the exact connections. If we do them one at a time, it'll make sense to you.
Yeah, right.
Wonderful, thank you.
That would be great.
Okay, so Dave, you're going to have to think about how you want to set up that coil because you got lots of extra wire there. So let's start with the okay. Where's my annotate? There it is, and I want to draw a line. We'll do it in red for now. We want to start with this wire right here.
Esto comenzar con esto. Oh, esto de, okay. Comenzar con esto. Esto is.
That's the inner wire.
This one. Esto. Comenzar con esto. Is that the one from the inside?
Yes, that's the short wire from the small inside coil.
Esto. Esto.
Empezamos con la línea negativa.
Yeah.
Sí, sí, negativo. He said, is it the negative one?
Well, don't worry about negative and positive right now. This one, bend it up so it's out of the way, because we're not going to attach anything to it right now.
Fuera. ¿Cómo es? Like this, John.
Yeah, just separate.
It's away.
Yeah, just bend it so it's out of the way. Okay, the other end of that coil is the long wire that you fed back through itself, and it's coming out of the other side.
That's gone in.
This one here.
The other end of that is this one here. Esto. El otra es el opuesto a esto es una que viene el dentro. Esto.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I can see the blue one you got there. Yeah.
Okay, that one connects to the start of the inside out, or the small diameter outside coil.
Small diameter.
Okay, so it goes to this
Small diameter.
small coil on the outside loop.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay,
this one. This one.
which is it's equivalent to the one you bent out of the way, but it's on the large loop, on the large coil.
Esto is
From inside.
from inside. That is
This
on the
is the
inside.
one. This is the one.
That's the
inside.
one. That's the one. So that connects. Okay, you got it. That one.
Okay, when you twist these two wires together, make sure you twist them in the same hand that the coils are wound in.
Now this one is.
The coil is round. This way the coil one. It's important you do that.
But you can see that's pretty good.
This is the inside one from
Yeah.
the big one.
And where's
And
it?
connects with what?
The thing is, this is round anti-clockwise. Yeah.
Yeah, but we got it connects first.
When you join the two together, you've got to wind them together.
I know, but which ones?
And yeah, he showed you there that if you look at there, Darko, there he's pointed to
The one that is small coil from the outside connects to what?
The opposite of the small coil on the inside.
the opuesta.
Opposite of
Mira,
the small coil of the inside.
Es
Small coil.
John's hace esto.
This.
So you're making those two inside, or the two inner coils, the ones that you can't see, are going to make two complete loops in the same direction.
This is outside from the coil inside, from inside coil of the inside.
Disculpen, no sé si estoy mal o Enigma le puedes decir. Las bobinas, antes de enrollarlas, primero, o sea, por separado, no hay que nano recubrirlas para que le digas a Dave, Enigma, o la gente que está allá me entienda. Antes de enrollarlas, porque entre el contacto entre el mismo cobre ya toca la materia y se estropean las bobinas. O sea, al momento de tocar la materia, ya la bobina no hace su función.
Do you want me to translate what he just said?
No, please, could you tell us what he said? It's very important.
He's saying you not coat first the wires, because once they touch the bulb, una vez que dices que toca si no están ¿cómo se dice? Me olvidé en castellano.
Recubierta o con el soporte.
Ajá. ¿Qué pasa si tocan la bobina?
Inside wire with inside wire.
Alter, ¿qué pasa si tocan la bobina sin estar cubiertas, dices?
Pues da lo mismo, o sea, es un cable X conductor, o sea, tú es como coger un cable de inicio o uno de salida. Entre los mismos contactos toca cobre-cobre. Lo importante es que toque el nano recubierto.
Yeah, I mean, basically he's asking if this doesn't affect the fact that they are not covered before you put the bulb, JC. I mean,
That's the one that goes round.
The coating will coat the wires. We do it a slightly different way, Sergio. We use a long period hot steam coating, and it will get right into all of the little connections. It won't create a short circuit.
Okay. O sea, Sergio dice que lo hacen de manera distinta, pero no va a haber un cortocircuito, o sea, nada de eso.
Cortos no va a haber, eso sí es claro. O sea, si las bobinas quedan muy apretadas y el cobre entre sí mismo no tiene espacio para que le llegue la soda o cualquier espacio que lo recubra, o sea, si queda bien en contacto, no, o sea, es muy probable que no les haga el efecto.
Que no, a ver, me tienes que explicar bien porque yo soy totalmente en esto no ilusa en todo.
O sea, no va a haber cortos, eso sí es claro, o sea, esto no va por la línea del caliente positivo, donde emite la señal, hay una tierra. O sea, en esta corriente doméstica, hay una que emite la señal, o sea, tú lo puedes medir con un tester, y hay otra que es la tierra, es la que encierra el circuito, o sea, no va a haber cortos, eso es claro. Sí, pero entonces, si los alambres quedan muy apretados, sí, y se juntan primero y luego se nano recubren, hay partes que quedan descubiertas en el cobre, o sea, hay partes que quedan tocando cobre, y no nano cobertura.
Okay, eso le voy a preguntar a JC. I mean, what he's saying is, why is what you are doing right now? You are placing both coils, and then when you coat, what would happen if there are patches where the coat didn't get into? That we just have copper and copper touching together.
It seems to be that way, but the people who have done it this way, they're having really good success. So the method of coating that we use corrects that problem.
Okay, Sergio dice que el método para cubrir el cobre que ellos usan funciona bien. No tienen ese problema de que queda así de cobre con cobre, de que no haya, que no quede cubierto.
¿Cuál usan?
And JC, are you going to show us that method today?
We'll go over that method, yes. It's essentially the same as Armin's method, except we do it in a crock pot or a slow cooker and keep it hot for 24 hours.
Okay, dice que es igual que el método de Armin's, excepto que lo ponen en una olla de presión durante 24 horas, ¿no? Lo mantiene así. You keep it hot 24 hours, you're saying.
Yes.
Lo mantienen caliente 24 horas.
Súper, genial ese método y pues, súper.
He's very happy to find out this new way. Thank you.
Yes, Vivek has done his coils. He did them in a egg steamer, and his coating was absolutely gorgeous. His reactor is actually assembled and running right now, so we can't really show too much of it. But he's got on the community site, the community.keshefoundation.org. He has a whole bunch of pictures of the process.
Sí, Sí, Alder dice que él ha visto reactores, ¿no? Ahorita que están funcionando perfectamente, ¿no? Con ese método. O sea, no hay problema. Sí.
¿Qué tipo de metal debe ser la olla? O sea, ¿qué reacción hay con los químicos en la olla? ¿Qué pasa con los vapores que emana la olla?
O sea, quiere saber si la olla es de aluminio o si es de metal, de acero inoxidable, si eso afecta.
Sí. Pasa con los vapores, porque el vapor de las casas del KOH. 319.
Okay. JC, can you? Alter has two questions. So Alter has two questions. One is, does it affect if you have aluminum or a steel pressure cooker?
Do not use aluminum. Caustic and aluminum do not get along.
These are the two actual.
Okay, so steel inox is fine.
Stainless steel will do quite nicely. I would not use a pressure cooker. I would use a double boiler. Do you know what that is?
No.
A steamer for steaming vegetables.
Yeah.
That thing that has something on top, like to place the steamer. You need to place the vegetable.
Yeah, so that you're not actually boiling your vegetables; they're just in the steam.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell him. Okay. Él dice que no usaría una olla de presión y tampoco de aluminio. El acero inoxidable es lo ideal y tiene que ser así como el steamer. O sea, ¿has visto eso para los vegetales? Que vienen unas ollas que tienen como una canasta adentro, donde ahí pones el vegetal. Entonces se cocina a vapor, no hierve.
I'll put an N in that.
Yes, but do not use aluminum or glass.
Ajá, ok. No uses aluminio, ni plástico, ni vidrio. Si pones en la internet, en Google steamer, ahí te van a salir fotos de... So he could use a steamer or...
A crock pot, they're called. If you look up CROCK, crock pot, it's designed for making like a stew. You put it in there in the morning and you turn the thing on and you go to work and you come back in the evening and your food's done.
Right.
Right. It's very slow cooking.
Exactly. And we just want to hold the temperature. We just want to hold the temperature up to near boiling for extended periods of time. However you want to do that is up to you.
Hay una olla que se llama crock pot. How you spell crock? C-R-O-C?
C-R-O-C-K.
Okay. Let's see. C-R-O-C-K. No, pot. Es una olla que se distingue porque mantiene la temperatura no hasta que hierva, sino hasta un poco antes de hervirla. Entonces mantiene, esa es la temperatura ideal, no quiere que esté así en ebullición, ¿no? Sino antes de que comience a hervir. Sergio, ¿me escuchas?
Sí, bueno, gracias. Un buen método.
Yeah.
Great.
The process is identical to Armin's process. The only change is instead of allowing the caustic to cool off in a few minutes, we keep it hot. That's all.
Ajá. O sea, es el mismo proceso de Armor, you say?
Armand, yes.
Armand. Pero solamente que, o sea, mantienen esta olla que es de presión, ¿no? Temperada, que no hace que se hierva, sino que mantiene la calentura, ¿no? Antes de hervir por 24 horas, ¿no?
Okay.
Muy bueno.
Okay, so Dave should be just about ready for the next step.
Right.
Except we're not making any noise over there.
No, we're all.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Dave, when you make that connection, that one connection, before you cut the excess off the wires, make sure you leave about 1 centimeter so that you can turn the end of the wire back on itself in a little loop.
Okay, understood. Antes de corte este cable, dejar 1 centímetro para el doble.
Para doblarlo atrás.
Okay, you got that.
Okay, so is that connection done now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got a connection.
Okay, now the next connection is going to be the outside coil where the small coil exits, which is that second long wire, the same, it relates to exactly the same wire that you just hooked up, but it hooks up to the inside loop outside coil on the same side that it comes out on. Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna, the direction, if you think about the flow through the wire, at this point you're gonna be reversing the flow to the outside coils. Okay?
See?
Pero necesita calor para de 4 horas.
Conserva el calor.
Produce esto, sí.
Sí.
We tend to use
No
electric
metal,
ones.
dice, ¿no?
We got John, if you can hear me. The owner of the shop here to take me up to his beautiful house at the top there, and he's shown me this crock pot. If you can just,
It's a crock.
if you can see, it is a crock pot. That is ceramic crock pot.
That's a real one.
Ceramic crock pot. Let me talk. Okay. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, similar to that, except for the ones that we use, they're electric, and they have a ceramic pot that goes inside a heating element.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the American version. This is the
Yes.
This is just a local one. They put a fire underneath.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would work fine if you can control the temperature and just keep it so it's just barely boiling.
Just simmering, yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, we put a heater underneath here. One of our little, for our colloidal silver, we put a little heater under that, and we put that here. And when we put the boiling water in with the caustic soda,
That'll keep it simmering.
that'll keep it for 24 hours, and you're fully nano-coated in every single corner of the arrangements. Yeah.
Well, you still do the 3 processes. You do the first one is a bath where you soak everything. It's covered in water. Then the next 2 processes, you set it up essentially the same way, except you want your copper only up in the vapor, only in the steam. You don't want it in the water. So you need to make a little rack or something in there that you can hold it up off the bottom.
That's very important. And Marinith, I don't know if you can get that over in Spanish. Did you understand it first, Marinith?
But where's which step is the caustico?
Yeah.
All 3.
Caustic, all 3.
All 3.
So what we do is, let me be very, very, because this is recorded, let me be exactly right. If you imagine that as my fire, okay, just stimulate it. And then we put the crock pot on top for the first one. Then we get our caustic soda. We put a full layer of caustic soda in, and we boil a pot. Correct so far?
Yes.
Okay, so we then put one full layer of balls. These are balls in this one. I think you've got crystals in yours, John. But if I can show you inside the tin, if it'll pick it up. The balls. So we put those. So we put those in the pot. We boil the water, and we then suspend on like a gauze. Yeah.
Well, I use just basic, like a galvanized fence chicken wire.
Chicken wire, yeah.
And I make a little short rack about 2 centimeters tall, just to keep the copper off the bottom.
Okay, so I could make something out of this, because I haven't got I'm not in my office now. I haven't got my galvanized gauze, but I could make something like that to suspend it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could use copper as well, certainly.
Right.
Sergio, ¿estás siguiendo todo lo que dice?
And then, Dave?
See?
Then when you go to put your water in the first time, make sure you put enough water to submerge everything.
One that goes that way,
Right.
and the other that goes the
For
other
24 hours.
Fíjate, para todas las cosas es abajo,
Abajo del
abajo
líquido.
del líquido.
Ah, ya,
Sí.
claro, o sea, tiene que estar
Sí.
lleno.
No lleno.
Ya,
No, no, por ejemplo, pone esto
ya,
abajo
claro.
y para quitar.
O sea, que el agua esté sobre
Sobre el material.
sobre el material.
Sí, pone esto adentro.
It's the steam that does the laminar
Y-
coating.
El agua.
Yes, but
No, that's on the second one.
you need the first bath to clean the copper. It cleans it and conditions it, gets it ready to do the
Adentro.
process.
Y entonces pone la agua hasta aquí.
Ya,
Y explosión. Y, okay, we got that. And then the second one, the second one, we
Use
Put it-
about half the caustic.
use half a layer of caustic.
And then put your rack in.
Suspend this above the level where this is our bobbin. We suspend this by a method of copper arrangement that we can link through the handles here. So we put that through there like that, put that through there, turn that around there.
Yeah.
Yep, that would work. That would work.
Por ejemplo.
And I've forgotten one thing. I've forgotten the bobbin. So
It works better if you put it in first.
Well, you'll have some wire hanging off, so you'll be able to see that you can connect it.
and then what you do is you put a half a layer at the bottom, pour the boiling water in, not touching the bobbin.
Yes.
And then we put that again on top of our fire.
Yeah.
So we then have our fire, and then we have that arrangement there. That's the bobbin, and it's
Yep.
hanging in. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Marinith, ¿entiendes esto?
Cantidad de esto.
Yeah.
¿Entiendes
Medio
esto?
los cristales.
Yeah, and Sergio, did you get
Muy bien.
Sí.
Pues estoy entendiendo que van a dejar solo en vapores los anillos. Pues no sé, pues a mí, pues no sé si, bueno, pues pues no sé si les pondrían una malla de gallinero, una chicken mess, pero pues bueno, lo ideal es que puedan
por
colgar
los vapores dices que es
todos los
peligroso?
anillos.
Eh,
Y esto lo van a dejar dentro, o sea, en un espacio cerrado o afuera en la leña o el fuego.
I mean, JC, Sergio is concerned about the vapors. Should you keep it in a closed environment or outside? Like,
Well, you want to keep the lid on the pot
okay.
and don't breathe the vapors. You will never do it twice.
Yeah, okay.
Sí. O sea, tienes que cubrir la panela, la olla y jamás respires los vapores, ¿no? Porque no te va a dar para respirar una segunda vez, dice.
Yeah, well, Sergio's Alta Energy is extremely experienced
The
at
good
this.
idea is to have a
He's done a lot.
Está solo en un espacio abierto.
So it's better in a open air, to leave it in open air?
If
Yeah.
you can, outside or in a big room where there's some ventilation.
Exacto. Afuera o donde haya bastante ventilación.
Right. Well, Darko had a question going back to. I think that's quite good. That I think we've got that sewn up now. I think we can go ahead with that. But we're not ready on this side. If we've got speaker view.
Yes.
Now, Darko had a question about this. So, he's done one here. Let's compare them. I want you to. Can you photograph this or freeze frame it, or I don't know? That's the Peruvian guys have done this. Is that something looking correct? And I'm going to give you a front-on view.
That looks pretty close. If you follow the wire, if you imagine you're an electron traveling through the wire, you're going to go into the inside loop.
Si, espera un momentito. Si tú es un electro, okay, vienes, okay, John.
Okay, you're going to go into the inside loop on the right-hand side, go around twice.
Dos tiempos.
Right, then you'll come out and you'll go into the outside coil of the inner coil, go around twice.
Ah, sí, aquí. Y entonces, boing, boing, dos tiempos. Hasta aquí, dos veces. Sí.
Then when you come out of the outside inner coil.
Inner coil?
Okay,
Sí.
the outside loop, the small coil on the outside, when you come out of that, you're going to go into the inside loop outer coil, but in the opposite direction.
You need to make a...
You've blown my head off, John. Now we got to get this that Marinese can translate it, and that's not easy. I'll tell you.
It's hard to understand loops and coils. So when I say a loop, I'm talking about the ring.
The bobbin.
Yes. When I say a coil, I'm talking about the spring itself.
Okay, coil. Coil is on the inside. Bobbin is on the outside. Is that correct?
Well, no. The coil are the springs. Okay, you've got two on the inside loop, two on the outside loop.
Right.
One inside the other, right?
Yeah.
So we enter into the inside loop in the small coil, go around twice.
I don't understand the go. Oh yeah, they go around once. No, entra aquí y entra aquí y una redondo, una vuelta y aquí una vuelta. Sale aquí, el dentro aquí, el dentro. Now we've joined that one to the outside coil of the bobbin. So
Okay.
the one, is that correct?
On one connection, yes. On the other connection, no. Where the inner loop exits, which is the single wire that goes through itself.
On the right hand side.
Which will be on the left hand side where it comes out.
Of the small one, yeah, this one goes to the inside coil of the large bobbin.
It goes to the start of the inside coil, which is going to be the short end, not the wire that goes back through it. Okay.
Right. Then goes round and then comes out and goes right down the hole. Okay.
Yeah. And where that wire comes out, that connects to the inside loop outside coil. But on the opposites, on the same side that it comes out in, because you're changing direction of the flow.
That one does not do this. That one comes out of the inside of the out coil. It comes out here and goes to the outside coil of this one here.
Okay, if you look at the drawing's actually very, very clear. If you start at the black wire where the little black arrow is, and you follow that line around, you'll see it goes to the inside inner loop, goes around twice, comes out. Yeah.
Let's have another look at it. I never got to give you the. Falta imprimir de esto.
¿Quieres impresora?
Every time you share screen, John, I can't get this. I can't make it smaller, and therefore I can't get to get the print out.
Go up to the top where the little button is and click stop full screen or I can't remember exactly what it says.
Original size, request remote control, annotate, exit full screen.
And that'll put it in the window.
I got it, mate. Thank you.
Okay. Now, if you look at this and follow this black line, It goes down to the inside coil here.
The bubbles have to
Yeah.
Okay, that's the start of the inside coil. Then that coil goes around.
Okay. El centro.
And it ends in the single wire, which goes back through itself.
Entonces,
It's so hard to try to explain this.
well, yeah, we're doing it in Spanish as well, which is even harder. So you've got no problems. We got the problems here. Okay, so ¿tienes esto? And now, should this bobbin be left or right-hand side? Obviously, on here it looks like it's the left-hand side.
Okay, where the long wire that feeds back through the coil comes out should be on the left-hand side.
Esto vienes a izquierda. Esto derecho. Entonces aquí, mira. So we got it round that way. Esto. That's the one that goes down the hole. That's the one that comes out. That's the one. That's to the outside coil. You're talking about the inside coil, aren't you, John?
Yeah. Yeah. Right now we're only dealing with the inside coils, and it's only one connection you have to make.
There. That one. Esto. Esto. Esto uno es a comienza. Comenzamos con esto. Now, vienes aquí. Entra. Una vuelta. Entra. Sale. When that one leaves the right-hand side of the coil.
Of the outside coil or the inside coil?
The inside coil. When that one leaves the inside coil,
it goes to the start of the small outside ring.
Small, it goes to the start of the large outside coil.
The inner coil of the outside ring.
Ah, esto, mira, esto, pone esto conjunto. Esto, conjunto. Estos dos.
Okay, so that if you were to put a little car on that wire, you'd go around the inside twice, then around the outside twice in the same direction.
Right. Okay. Hace esto bueno. Y entonces, and we get the next one, John. Then we go round twice again, so that goes in there, around the inside coil. Then we go round and then we come out. Oh, that's not right, is it? Go round.
Yeah, well, that's what we're concerned about, because they would not touch the brick.
That's right. They would just go for the gold.
Ah, this one, incorrecto.
So the only thing with it is,
And this one comes out of the big coil. This comes out of the center of the big coil. We've gone round once, twice, and
where it comes out of the center of the big coil, it goes back to the outside coil of the inside loop. In the opposite direction, okay? So it hooks up to the same side it comes out in. You don't cross this anymore.
Okay. Esto. Esto correcto. Esto correcto. Estos dos. Okay, that's really cleared that one up.
Okay.
And then we Sally. So then we connect that.
Other end of the outside coil of the inside ring.
So we go in, and then out, and then we've got that one going back. Volver aquí. Y tenemos cuatro, uno, dos, cuatro. We've got four They're doing nothing.
Okay, where the left or the right hand side of the inner ring outside coil, which is going to be one of the wires that you've got free, goes to the left hand side of the outside coil outside ring. Okay, so they're going to be, those two are going to be flowing in the same direction.
It's all organic, volcanic. So the Kumara tip comes in one leg.
So we've now only got,
and you'll wind up with 2 wires free.
2 free lines. That's what we've got.
Yep. Now, when you clip off the excess, make sure you leave about 1 centimeter so you can wrap the wire in a little loop back on itself. It's very important to do that.
Corta estos pequeños, pero sale un poquito para mover el dentro. ¿Cómo se dice? Turn it back on itself. Marini.
Harbour is gone, so they've rebuilt part of the harbour, and now they've still got ship coming in picking up some.
¿Dónde está tu cosita?
¿Dónde dice what?
We're talking about cutting the wires now.
Yeah, leave yourself about 1 centimeter, and make sure you do this. Back on themselves.
La foto.
Solid. Yeah, our job, I work with all the blasting there. You put front noise and you're blasting out. Yeah,
Esto
blasting
que
it out
es
so that make it.
¿no?
Say,
Esta.
JC, you should come on the big screen.
Trench.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that. Okay, so I'll spotlight my own.
¿Esta?
Una impresora de esto.
¿Quieres para imprimir?
Todo páginas. No sé cuántas páginas tiene.
Son como
32. 31.
31 páginas. Esa impresora no está dando rojo, magenta, no importa.
Yeah.
Magenta.
Come on.
See that?
Okay, mira. John.
Ah, claro.
Y volver.
Ahí a la punta roscada para
Okay, that's excellent, John. We understand it. These guys understand it. Entiendes. Excellent. Gallery view. So I think we've got one proper one made, and we're going to do the other 2 exactly the same now.
Yeah.
Now, while we're doing that, that's going to take up a little bit of time for us. John, can you start telling us about, and this is where other people can come in, Don Greenfeld, Vivek, and Sarah. We got Libby here, and if you've got any working units, anyone, you can come in now and tell us a little bit about it. Vivek, you're in Singapore. I don't know, have you got a working unit there, or has anyone got any bought units? We got David Donald Paris. Dave Paris is here as well.
Well, Vivek has bought a unit. It's up and running right now. It's actually plugged in. It's powering a light right now.
Who got that?
Vivek. I don't know if he can pull a drawer out and show us what's going on, but he might be able to.
Camera on, Vivek.
I'll give it a try. Hang on.
Okay.
He had some issues with his second camera a little earlier. We were working with it, so he may not be able to get a camera on it.
Right.
But his is going to look quite a bit different because it's already coated in GANS, and it's in a nice little plastic box, and it's all 3 coils are wired together, or all 3 layers are wired together.
And what kind of a light does he have?
He's just running a small LED right now. He just started his system up. He's not ready to load it up with a high load yet.
Okay, I'm going to have to leave the meeting and come back in, then the other camera would work. I'll be right back.
Okay, Vivek, thanks, mate. Anyone else would like to come in at this stage?
I mean, I don't have mine ready to go. I'm ready to nano coat, but I've got another fella here that's working with me, and we're trying to get up to the same stage so that then we can parallel from that point.
Right.
So my coils are just sort of sitting on the desk waiting for him to catch up right now.
Well, this has been a fabulous exercise, John, because it's helped. Esto es un bueno ejercicio porque entiendo el mecanismo un poco más ahora.
Ah, sí.
Sí. Yeah, and we understand the mechanism a little bit more, how one goes into the other, and you get this tremendous vortex going on here now. Because if you see that you've got 3 of these, you're going to, I mean, I can just feel the power in it now, you know, just with 1 in front of me. Just to imagine you've got 3 there. And the way you explained the ball, John, earlier, was you've got a serious bit of kit here now.
Oh,
so it's all starting to fall into place, and we've had to take away any thoughts we had with the old electricity, you know, and the way it worked, to a completely different way of thinking. But there's one thing that you confused me with. You said when you spin this, you said the other day, no moving parts.
That's right.
So I took the motor off, and I've got this one. I've got a stationary one with a bottle top, and I cut that, and therefore that's stationary. Are you saying that, let's show this for the recording, are you saying that when I get 3 of these, I put that in the center of the 3 of them, and it's stationary?
You put one with each coil.
You got a ball for each coil?
Yes.
None of the drawings show that. They show 1 ball surrounded by 3 sets of coils, bobbins.
I'm going to have to check mine, but I'm quite certain that
there's just 1 ball in there, and it's fixed. You said it was fixed.
Okay. Well,
I'm just.
We've got folks making them with 1 ball for each set of coils, and they work really, really good.
Oh yeah. Look, Vivek's back online. Can you put speaker view, and Vivek, if you start speaking to us, we're going to get a good look at your container.
Okay. This is what I have right now. This is the stacker unit. The coils are inside. Don't know whether if you can see them from here, but I think you can.
Yeah, we can
just about see the coils inside. There's a ping pong ball inside each layer.
Tienes una, cada una. Sí. Sí. Okay.
Okay. So what you see over here are the capacitors. I've just made them very quick and dirty. I didn't make them as intricate as others did. This is to test and see how effective they are. So, okay, this is how the wires are running to the capacitor. This is from the plug that you can see over here. So
you got the old ones.
Yep, it's running over here. Okay, and then from here, what happens is that the neutral runs out to a power strip, which is right over there. Okay, the power strip is down there, and the neutral runs over there. The live, I followed configuration number 4 on the blueprint. And that's how I've connected it up. This is the other set of capacitors. So right now, I've only got 1 LED plugged in. As you can see, it's running.
Wow.
All right, I've got it taped up because if I don't, you know, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Sí.
Sí, esto no listo para poner la fuerza. Esto listo para comenzar. Y entonces comenzar con un poquito. LED. Y
I mean,
después,
can I ask a question?
please
Sure.
do now.
So basically, what you just showed us, that's the energy unit. That,
Yes. Yeah.
That's those.
It's the
All right.
same thing. It's exactly the same thing that you would buy from the Keshe Foundation. It's just not pretty.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
no,
it.
he's stolen his children's little box. That's a terrible sin.
Yeah, I stole it away from some child in the supermarket. I said, "Gimme," and then ran away with it.
So guys,
And then-
this is running independently. No electricity, nothing. I mean, by
Well,
itself.
There is electricity. It's running off of the power grid. But the
Okay.
thing is, what it does is that it learns the behavior of electricity and then starts delivering energy to your devices in the same way, mimicking electricity but not using electricity.
Wow, that's nicely explained, Vivek.
Right.
Marinita, Dan Eklund just said that would be pretty good to translate that for estos hombres aquí.
Oh, ok. Entonces, esto de acá es una unidad de energía que ahorita está usando la electricidad, pero lo que va a hacer es que va a imitar la función de la electricidad y va a seguir por sí sola brindando electricidad sin necesidad de la electricidad. Vivek, how long it takes like to mimic to get to run by itself? For how long it has to be plugged and all that?
Okay, there's actually a conditioning phase that the system has to go through. So for the first 3 days that you plug it in, you should not plug in any electrical devices to the power strip for the first 3 days. Okay, this is to let plasma know the characteristics of the electricity in your area, be it 110 volts, be it 50 or 60 hertz, whatever it is. It will start to learn the characteristics. After 3 days, then you plug in a very small load like this, like the LED lamp. This is a very, very small load.
Un poquito.
Right.
Okay, and then you run that for another 3 days.
Yes, keep asking questions, Marinita.
So after 6 days, you plug the unit from the switchboard completely?
No, what you do is after 6 days, you plug in another load into the power strip. So what I'm going to do, if you can see, there's a big fan over here. All right, there's a big fan over here. This is going to go onto the power strip in another 2 days' time.
To answer your question, Mary Neith, what happens eventually after the conditioning phase is you still have the device plugged into the wall, but it's not drawing any electricity.
Yeah.
It's only seeing the vibration of that electricity. So your meter, your electric meter, won't be turning anymore. Now we have devices very soon coming out from the Keshe Foundation where you can have this unit and you don't need to plug it into the wall ever.
Right, because I'm imagining those places in the jungle where you don't have any electrical poles, how, they can start.
Yeah, exactly. We have the same problem with Africa. And the system is being developed, which we're going to call a plasma generator, which is a completely standalone device. You don't need to have existing electricity to run it.
Wow, great. Cool, guys.
But this is the first time that this has come out. So we're looking at an interface between our existing electrical devices and the plasma energy. Because this device, this plasma reactor doesn't output electricity, it outputs plasma that acts like electricity.
Right, right. So little by little, you are gonna plug all your electronics into the, the
Yep.
board. I mean,
Yep.
so you're gonna plug the fan and then something. That's how does it work? It has to get acquaintance with your.
Yes, it's like raising a puppy. It takes a little while for it to get used to you, your energy fields, what you are asking for. And this device in this configuration, it's pretty much guaranteed to provide at least 2,000 watts. It will probably do more, but for safety's sake, the factory has to limit it at 2,000 watts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But for people in the jungle, 2,000 watts is huge.
Exactly. Plenty. Right.
I mean, if you need more, you can add a second unit, and you more than double your available power usage.
So
That's why I went and stole this from another child.
So in each drawer you have these coils with one bulb for each drawer.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
In fact, if you go into the chat, I've dropped in the link to my album in the community, in the Keshe community. You can see a step-by-step pictorial description of all the steps that I took, or the whole process that I went through to build this.
Mm-hmm. Wow, awesome, man. Hey, Vivek, where are you located?
Singapore.
Singapore.
Yes.
And is this technology, do you know if in India, are they people trying out with this technology right now?
I believe they are. There's a guy from here.
There is a Keshe, there is a Keshe Foundation India, and it is sanctioned by the Keshe Foundation, and they are beginning to work on manufacturing devices in India itself.
Mm-hmm. Great, awesome.
This is the X-Steamer, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So very soon.
I got the picture. Because really I used to see the picture of the coils. I would not know how to relate them to, working condition, and now I got the whole picture with this.
Yeah. So very soon, this air conditioning unit will be going on to the power strip as well.
Wow.
So what that should do is hasten the process of nano coating all the wiring in the house.
Right.
Yeah. So and this is one of the biggest draw of power in the house. So once that goes behind the MagRev unit, our bills should drop quite significantly.
Vivek, can you answer to us here in Peru when you think you're going to connect that unit up?
In about 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks' time, okay.
Yep.
All making a lot of sense now. How this works.
Because there's a very specific conditioning process that Mr. Keshe has outlined for the MagRev unit. So for the first 3 days, run a small LED. Then for the next 3 days, add in the table fan. And then after that, for the next 4 days, you need to slowly add in a resistive load, which is 500 watts or less. And then from there up to the third week, you need to increase the resistive load until it hits close to or at its 2 kilowatts maximum. And then you can put in other loads.
Wow. So, yeah. So,
yeah, there is a document available that illustrates this step by step.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that in my inbox, actually, John. If you can mail it to me.
I'll have to go get it. I think Vivek's got a copy. He's the one that wrote it. So.
Well, I've got to get it over into Spanish, of course. So.
Actually, it's already available on the Blueprint site, blueprint.keshefoundation.org.
Oh, well, I've got that here. ¿Tienes una copia?
There's that site's going to continue to grow, Dave.
Right, we're going to go copy of the blueprint right now, so you can tell us which page it's on.
Yeah, no, it's a separate link, and I believe it's called the manual.
Yeah, that's right.
So have a look at, go to blueprint.keshefoundation.org and have a look for a link that isn't the blueprint link, but it's a manual link. Because it's a separate document that came out later.
I got that yesterday, I do believe. So.
Okay.
I have one more question. JC, when you were saying that now you're almost breatharian, you were referring to this unit that you have at home?
No, actually, my unit isn't up and running. The difference that I've noticed is simply from having CO2 GANs in the room.
Exactly.
And
I mean,
because the GANs is the energy source. Okay, the GANs is the energy source. These coils, they're just an interface between that energy source and the devices that you're going to plug into them.
Okay. Okay.
You know, they're not the gasoline, they're the car.
Ok, o sea, es necesario el GANS. ¿Qué tipo de GANS le aplicaste o qué mezclas de GANS le aplicaste? Para que le digas, Enigma. Gracias.
¿Qué pregunta, Sergio? Disculpa.
¿Qué tipos de GANS le puso al blueprint? ¿Y cuántas bolas o recipientes? Esferas.
A este de acá que estás viendo ahorita.
Sí.
¿Qué tipo de Sergio wants to know what kind of GANs did you put into this unit?
Okay, for this unit itself, because I was trying out the electrical supercharge method, so it produced the GANs, the pure GANs of the metal itself. For this unit, I have zinc, copper, and iron, pure GANSes. They are not. There's only very little CO2, CH3, and copper oxide in there, but the rest of it is the pure GANs of zinc, iron, and copper.
Okay. ¿Escuchaste, Sergio?
Sí, CO2, zinc, bueno, CO2, hierro y cobre. Vale. Oye, yo vi una parte que, bueno, no sé si, o sea, yo entiendo el blueprint como, bueno, podría ser un transformador. Es un transformador, sí, es una bobina, pero en que, pues no sé cuánto él lo lleva probando, pero en qué punto, o sea, ese sistema puede generar independientemente de energía en la casa, o no sé si le entendí mal, o sí, él ya lo había hablado.
Él dijo que esto, este tipo de blueprint es para que esté, porque el plan lo que va a hacer es, va a imitar a la electricidad. No, tu medidor no va a subir, no va a usar energía, electricidad, pero necesita el plasma tener esa, como decirte, el modelo de la electricidad para saber así, para imitarla, ¿no? Para ir a tus electrodomésticos y todo, pero no gasta electricidad, solamente la imita. Más adelante están haciendo, ya va a salir un blueprint que lo puedes poner no sé, en la mata, en la selva o en cualquier lugar, y sin necesidad de enchufarlo a la electricidad, que ya solito no es independiente. Pero este de acá sí necesita imitar a la electricidad, o sea, sin consumirla.
When I did the electrical method, what happened was that I did not know about this, which is the aquarium air pump. It was only later that I came to find out that in order to get CO2, CH3, and copper oxide GAN, I needed to pump air using an aquarium pump. That's why I got the pure GANs of the metal itself. And when I mixed it all up, it looks like this. As you can see, it's pretty black.
Ese es su GANS que está haciendo, que hizo cuando Sergio, cuando hizo el GANS.
¿Esa es la mezcla? Ah, ese es el recipiente. O
Ajá.
cuando...
Oh, Ashraf.
So this is your mixture, or this is the
This is the mixture.
Esa es la mezcla.
No.
Great.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sergio, ¿alguna pregunta más?
Pues no sé, ya que lo está probando. ¿Qué se me ocurre preguntar? No, pues, pues no, yo le vi bien que, bueno, en los vatios de entrada, o no, bueno, no sé si son 1000 y pues los de salida son 2000.
¿Cómo los?
Los vatios, los watts.
Ajá. So, guys, does anyone can respond to this? He's asking the input in watts, o sea, en entrada es 1000 y en salida es 2000, ¿eso?
Sí.
O sea, he's asking if it's input is 1000 watts and output is 2000 watts. Does anyone?
No. When you first hook the system up, your input and your output will be roughly the same. As it conditions, your input is going to drop eventually to 0.
Ah, ok. O sea, cuando empiezas, Sergio, va a ser más o menos al igual. Tu input y tu entrada y tu salida. And then after how long you are saying, JC, it comes to 0?
Somewhere around 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending upon how you condition it.
And your input goes to 0?
Yes.
Y tu entrada bajas a nada, a 0, de 3 a 4 semanas luego, más tarde, Sergio.
Vale. Sí, desde que se comenzó a nano recubrir.
Marineath, Don Goodwill, Don Greenfield, I think it is, has just put into the chat room that he used grease-proof paper. Let's see. No, it's Vivek. Chat room. Walk us through that for a minute, please, Vivek, and then Marineath can put that into Spanish while we've got the engineers here.
Okay. What I use to make the capacitor is grease-proof paper, the same type that you would use in baking. So you could use baking paper as well.
Momentito, por favor. Marineath, ¿se puede explicar a Héctor esto, como esto?
So sorry, I didn't hear well. You said that you use like butter paper.
I use paper that is grease-proof. So it's the kind of paper that you use for baking.
For baking, is it that like transparent but kind of greasy one, like?
Yeah.
Not wax paper.
Transparent.
Not wax paper, Marianne. Not wax paper. This is a baking paper. They use it for pastries.
Wax paper.
Yeah. It's not wax paper. It looks like wax paper, but it's not wax paper. It must be grease-proof because they need to be fire-resistant.
Silicone.
Parchment paper.
Ah, it's fire-resistant, resistente al fuego.
Yes.
See.
So you guys know that paper in Peru? ¿No? Do you
The silicone release paper.
I don't know if silicone will work. It needs to be. You need to be able to impregnate it with.
Or JC, do you have a piece of that paper to show? Maybe if we see it, like recognize.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Dave knows what he's talking about. They use it in England quite a lot, and they'll line pans with this paper and then cook pastries or cakes or stuff on it. And
He'll know.
Wax paper. Wax paper.
They call it wax paper.
No, parchment paper. Parchment.
Hilno says that it's papel de cera. See? Cera.
Yeah, but he says non-flammable, this can burn with a fire.
Ah, yeah.
Not wax paper, because you want the GANs to be in the paper.
Yeah.
So it needs to be able to absorb the GANs.
It's the parchment paper.
So it is parchment paper, as Don Greenfield says.
Well, specifically, it's called baking paper.
Ah, we just as Angela said, so baking parchment.
Yeah.
Now translate that into Spanish.
So,
I think it's silicone.
Should we do traductor on that?
yeah, so what? Okay, yeah, baking paper.
I don't know it.
No.
I know.
Hilno doesn't know it either, so we might
go to a culture where they have ovens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't it a little bit yellowish, the baking paper? A little bit like just a yellow tint? Guys, is that
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, as long as it's fire resistant, it's okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even like a fiberglass window screen will probably work. I haven't tested it, but I have made Alex's beads with fiberglass screen that you would put in your windows, and that worked just fine. We're all learning.
Yes, yeah. I think papel manteca, it is called. Grease paper, it is called.
Esto entiende, sí. Manteca.
No, para hacer
Yeah.
usamos ese papel. Tipo mantequilla.
No
se quema,
No
no se
quema.
puede quemar.
Eso lo usamos en los transformadores. Resiste la calentura.
Esto. No, eso wax. Esto es wax paper.
Esto resiste mucha calentura.
No, esto es cera.
Pero no calor, fuego.
Claro, ese papel.
Ya sé.
¿Qué hacemos?
Los rebobinados.
Manteca, ¿tú tienes manteca? ¿Papel de manteca? Grease paper. Grasa. Papel de grasa.
He says no grass.
Marinette, can you say that word again, or say the whole thing again?
I mean, I think it's papel manteca.
Papel manteca.
From what I Google
We've got some here. Let's have a look. Do a screen share.
That's
tracing paper. That's tracing paper.
No, that's tracing paper.
similar stuff.
Yeah, no, but that you don't use for baking, tracing paper.
We're going to try and look some out in a baking shop where they make cakes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's brown.
No, eso no. Eso fueron tartas. Cuando en la cocina, cuando pone en el horno.
She just zeroed in on it. You know the panettone?
Panettone?
Yeah,
The
panettone.
Italian is what
It's the
is
thing
called.
that comes in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yes, it, on the internet it says that parchment paper is the baking paper, so that would be fine, I think.
Baking paper. Now, surely you can say that in Spanish. Baking paper.
Papel para hornear.
Papel
Para hornear.
Papel para hornear.
Para orinar.
But the wood paper.
See, some of them. So we need to go to a
Tú
bake.
conoces el panetón, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí.
Ese papel marrón
Ah,
donde el
envolturas,
panetón crece.
sí.
Ese.
Papel para papel para-
Y menciona que es el del panetón, por si acaso cuando vayan a buscarlo para dar una clave.
Can we, if we, I think we've cracked that one. Now, where does this go? This goes on each layer of the bobbins.
No, this is that the paper is for your capacitors. And it carries the GANs that you need to coat the inside of your capacitors with.
Capacitores. Okay. And what GANs do we make for that?
Same stuff.
Now,
for you, Dave, use the CO2, CH3, and copper oxide, because those are the easiest ones for you to make.
Okay, and that zinc, that plate that I've got in the workshop, that's good enough for that?
Yeah. Well, you're making a mix. So the zinc, if the zinc comes off and it exposes the iron, you're just going to get your CO2 and your CH3 all in the same batch. So
okay, let's walk through that one. Okay, and we've gone past the bobbin stage. We've got a correct bobbin, and now we just move into the GANs. So we've got what we've got here. We now got the crock pot. We're happy with the crock pot so that we can make the GANs, and we know that the stages where we use the steam, and we know the stages where we use the drowning, the irrigation. So if we move into the GANs, we've got some here, and I didn't bring my rubber gloves. Just walk us through what I can touch and what I cannot touch.
Well, you are GANs, Dave, so it really doesn't matter, but you're better off not, try not to get smeared with it if you can.
So
it doesn't clean up very easily.
Okay. So this one's been in here for weeks and weeks now because we have been busy with all the activity out in San Roque.
Okay, that looks like there's something went wrong.
Well, it just went blue after time. I mean, I'm talking about a month when Rebecca was here.
Yeah.
What have we got? I'm going to bring over what I've got. And don't forget, I got a donation of $500 for this, and I spent every single penny of it.
Spendthrifty.
Yeah. And we've got another bobbin there. Otra bobbin. Sí, para hacer como exacto como es. Mira. Right. The reason why I bought these things was they were on the original list that you gave me, John, and I bought citric acid. I think that's to do with MMS, actually.
Yes, that's for the MMS.
So we'll chuck that away. Now, who said that they had DMSO today? You had DMSO. That's my first attempt at making GANs, titanium oxide.
Okay.
Titanium oxide.
Okay, that's for the Alex beads. Those are little standalone batteries. Now you can use the Alex beads to drive your plasma unit.
Are you saying that this is for the African machine, which I'm going to call it the Peruvian machine?
Essentially, yes. That's one of the things that came up is you can make an array of the Alex beads so that you have a 12-volt output and use that to drive your reactor.
And if anyone doesn't know what an Alex bead is, basically it's a piece of copper a bit smaller than that, but about say, that long, and you make the titanium. You basically do the same thing with titanium oxide, and you put the caustic soda in that. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, that makes the titanium oxide GANs, and you use that, you smear that on a piece of paper, you wrap that around your nano-coated straight piece of wire, then you wrap the whole thing in, or you wrap the paper again with a strip of aluminum foil, and then you wrap another nano-coated wire around the outside. They're exactly the same as the capacitors, except the capacitors don't have the tinfoil. And you can use any GANs you want. You can use any GANs you have on these devices. They work just fine. I made mine out of strictly CO2 GANs, and they work just great.
Now, Marinith, this is the first time you've ever even heard of GANs, probably. So are you picking that up?
I mean, so where do you use GANs?
GANs is the energy source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you would use that any place you want to collect that energy from.
Explica esto en español. When you understand it in Spanish.
I mean, he says que es the collective source, ¿no? O sea,
the GANS is the source of the energy, yes.
Okay, es la fuente de energía, es el GANS. Y lo pones donde quieras, ¿no? Tener energía. But, okay, so you don't think that this mix, it is called GANS, this mix with all these chemicals that you've been talking?
Well, you can have a single GANS, like a carbon dioxide GANS, or you can have a mixture of GANSes. The mixtures are more powerful because you'll have a gradient. You'll have a strong GANS on the outside and a weak GANS on the inside, which is going to draw that energy towards the weak GANS. It can get a little complicated. All you really need to worry about right now is that the GANS is where the energy is coming from.
So the GANS is where the energy is coming from. So what you mean? I mean, so GANS is, like I said, is okay, like one chemical, just it can be one chemical, right?
Well, don't think of it as a chemical. Think of it as plasma in a matter state. Because that's what GANS means. GANS, G-A-N-S, stands for gas in a nano state.
Now, John, what we could do is throw the room open here and ask somebody to show us their GANS factory, or unless you've got something that you can show.
I don't have anything ready right now.
Okay. Anyone in the room has got any GANS? Vivek, David, Don?
I don't think Libby's
well, the master of GANS, of course, is Alter Energy. So, Sergio, ¿tiene GANS para ver? Sergio no está aquí. Sarah Beckham's coming in.
Well, I've got GANS, but I don't have a camera, so won't help anybody.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Okay.
So I have some CuO or CuO2. I'm not sure what's the difference. And I have CH3 and I have CO2. I don't have enough volume of any of it to do anything with it.
Okay.
Unless I make a bead, but I haven't done it yet. So.
Okay. What I'll do is I will walk everyone through what is needed for each of the GANs, because I've got it all ready here waiting. Now, John, again, I want to ask you another question. That is it best that I don't? What I've got. I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got 2 brass plates plus 3 thin brass plates, a bronze coin, a spiral copper coil, all nano-coated except the 3 copper plates that we took off a fridge filter. The fridge filters make this copper, and we stripped it, me and Carlos stripped it, and we ended up with 3 brass dirty plates that need, we've got 4, look at that. So, and the way that we do it, and then I've got no gloves, so I'm going to pick it up with, can I touch these, JC?
Well, you can touch the nano coating, but you might get really energized.
Oh, excellent. So, I've made a coil.
Okay.
That's 1. Darko's taking the piss out of me here. I've got a thick copper plate, which is about 3 millimeters, I would guess, Dan.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether to, I'm going to ask you a question. Do I swap that 3 millimeter plate for one of them?
I don't think it matters.
Okay. So, and then I'm going to pull, the reason why I'm pulling these out like this, because there is a set sequence when we do the GANs of 3 different ones, and nobody I think knows here except maybe Donald knows the difference between the one. Oh, Darko might know actually. So I'm going to pick that one up, and that one up. That's the first one with 2 brass nano-coated copper steels. And then I've bored a hole in these so that is nano-coated in the hole, and therefore I dunk these in the caustic soda. So I did the caustic soda and I did irrigation.
Okay, they're already done. The caustic is finished. If they're nano-coated, your caustic is done.
So yeah, so I'm nano-coated. So these are good to go, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, next. Now, what does that make? What do those brass plates make? Is it CO2?
Well, you got to get your materials right. That's not brass, Dave. It's copper.
Copper. Sorry.
Okay, brass is copper.
And zinc. Shouting at me yesterday if you get me words right. We're getting me words mixed up, and it's because I'm a playful scientist. I'm not a scientist.
You're just excited. That's all. Okay, for the carbon dioxide, the CO2 GANs, you would use 1 nano-coated copper plate and 1 zinc plate.
Okay. Tienes donde está?
And what does that have to do with CO2?
The interaction between the fields that they create is a magnet for carbon. It draws carbon in from the atmosphere, which mixes with the oxygen in the water and creates carbon dioxide GANs.
Does that make sense? You've lost Dan there.
No, I'm holding that as a possibility.
Okay. Now, I haven't got... ¿Tienes un tablero de zinc? Tengo en mi taller mucho.
Sí.
Zinc.
No, creo que don Carlos lo tenía y voy a llamar, ¿verdad?
Yeah, the zinc might be a challenge for you guys.
Well, we've got the building material and it's zinc coated.
You can get it from a battery. Just cut off the ends of a regular non-alkaline battery. Cut off the ends, cut down the side, unroll it, and you got a zinc plate.
Yeah, we've tried that. Carlos tried that.
Zinc, zinc pattern. So that's fun to call them zinc factories.
Probably is.
So here we go. I'm going to replicate it in this, but this is the crock pot, okay? We've got 1, I'm going to get energized. 1 spring.
Yeah.
1 spring in there. And 1 4-inch nail. Una clavo. ¿Tiene un clavo? Normal? Sí. Doesn't have to be galvanized. It can be just steel.
Zinc.
Well, for the CH3, the red stuff, then yes, just a plain 10-penny nail.
Okay, we're going to get one of them. So that's the first bucket.
John, could you use a galvanized nail instead of your zinc?
You could, yes, because the galvanizing is zinc.
So you can use a galvanized piece of galvanized steel.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a very specific GANs, if you're looking specifically for CO2 and nothing else, then you don't really want to do that, because you'll also have the energy of the iron in there, which is going to draw in the CH3 GANs. So your GANs will probably wind up looking kind of pink instead of a nice ruddy rust color.
Okay, so what we're saying here is a normal rusty nail. Here we go. We got Alta Energy showing us his very tightly knit coil.
Tiny.
Very tightly knit.
Little tiny ones.
Wow.
Nice, nicely made, huh? Está bien hechito, bien hecho.
That's a very big coil.
No, look at the size of his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he's got a big hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first one.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah.
They're all the same process. The only difference is one of the materials changes for each set. So let's just do one set, and then the other ones you simply swap out the zinc for iron or the zinc for copper. It's always the same setup. So let's just do one. Let's just concentrate on one.
Okay,
then everybody
so
will understand.
Depending on what you put in, I mean, you have zinc, GANs, something like that, right?
Say that again, Marinese?
I mean, you have like zinc, GANs, and or something else, GANs.
Now,
Like the of the
your different types of GANs is going to be determined by the different interactions of the fields that you're creating within your system. You can have a GANs of lead, you can have GANs of mercury, you can have GANs of plutonium.
Okay. One more question. Why Dave could not touch those plates and all? Because they were already coated?
Well, the nanomaterials are, it's a very special kind of an atomic structure. The atoms of the carbon are actually puffed up like popcorn. And if you get them into your system, they'll stay there. You'll never get rid of them.
Oh, really?
John knows exactly. I showed him one.
And I think you should use more than a napkin then, you know?
Well, it's not really dangerous because you're full of nanomaterials, you are full of GANs, you're made of GANs. So it's just going to cause some effects. Some people when they work with the GANs materials, they just get really energized, and all of a sudden they just have all this energy and they don't know where it comes from. Some people who work with the nanomaterials get that effect too. So it's best if you don't actually physically handle it, but it's not going to kill you if you do.
Okay.
Muy bien, gracias.
Oh, they're drinking the good water now. You're making me jealous, Dave.
It's not bad. It's not San Roque water. It's Coca-Cola water.
So then you use these GANs for coating?
No, well, you will coat your coils with the GANs, but it's not the black coating that you're looking for. You use the caustic soda to do the black coating.
Okay.
Mira, right, John, I don't know if you can see me. Alternate Energy is showing the way he starts his coils up in a figure of 8 and then he wraps them underneath each other. Very, very interesting to see that.
Yeah, his method, there's a lot of people working on this, trying to figure out how to do this with the fewest possible connections.
Wow, that looks really neat, that though.
It's a bit of a trick getting everything balanced so it all fits together properly.
Yeah, no. In my hand I've got, because I want to show the 3 GANs now, so that I know that what I'm doing is correct. So,
okay, Sergio, can we get you to stop your screen share so I can see what Dave's doing, please?
Sergio, por favor.
Aló.
Sergio,
¿Me
¿puedes
oye?
sacar?
¿Me oye?
Sí. ¿Podrías retirar las fotos para que podamos ver la mezcla que va a hacer Dave ahora?
Ah, sí. Pues les quería explicar un momentico. Este es un esquema de las bobinas, pero bueno, más pequeño. En tamaño, bueno, en tamaño pues solo este se hizo con un hilo, o sea, con un alambre de cobre. O sea, no hay interrupciones de la energía. ¿Sí? No hay interrupción de la energía. Me basé en un esquema de un video de Keshe Filipinas, en el cual pues se supone que no debe haber saltos de energía en las conexiones. Entonces, como pueden ver, en la conexión de la derecha no hay uniones. ¿Sí? Todo se hizo con un mismo alambre. Entonces, les dejaré aquí el link del video. Se ve interesante. Las primeras fueron en sentido horario y la última bobina, ustedes van a ver cómo se hace la bobina, él la dibuja, ahí se ve claro, y la última bobina se hizo en antihorario para que oscile o de un salto. Entonces después, ahorita la tengo en nano recubriendo y después voy a probar a ver si en Watts, en trabajo final, a ver si me da algo que pues consideremos que sea
o que no, se supone que no haya un salto de electrones pues en la cuestión o bueno, a nivel plasmático. Entonces voy a hacer otra igual como la hemos estado haciendo. Entonces, bien, entonces ya tengo la traducción, el screen.
Bestial, bestial. Y gracias por el link. Ahora les voy a decir. Oh, guys,
Muy claro, Sergio. Gracias por esto. Y el ingeniero entiende, busca cómo hace esto. Muy bien, gracias.
Yeah. Sergio just wanted to share that he did his coils from using just one single wire, and he saw this got this model, or how you call it, a blueprint from a guy in Philippines, and he's posting on the chat room the link, so you can also check out. And now check out the link if you wanna know how to do it that way. Right now he's nano coating his coils, and he's gonna know how they came out. You know, how is the electrons going in a plasma way, how they are working, so you get to find out later.
John, that's one wire, so that's quite incredible, isn't it? That's got to work more power, hasn't it?
We'll find out. I can't say one way or the other whether it's going to be better or not. I don't know.
Just to wrap up this session, I think.
En MIP Perú nos deja saber cómo te va. I'm telling him to let us know, you know.
Okay. Just to wrap up here, because we're getting close to getting somewhere. I've got a rusty nail.
No, throw it out.
Throw it away. No. Use esto. Nuevo. A new one, John, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Nuevo. Or I could use a zinc-plated one of them. Coach bolt.
Yep.
Okay, so let's recap. Connect those with a bit of copper. Do we put the light on it? But we connect that nano-coated spring to a zinc-plated. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that will give me.
Well, and you put that into a 10 to 15% sea salt solution.
Okay. We're on the sea salt. So go on, John.
So you would mix 100 milliliters of sea salt in a liter of water, or use ocean water. If you can use seawater, that's even better.
I've got Sal Marina, and I'm in the Amazon here, if you don't mind. So I'm not going to find sea salt around here.
Yeah, use distilled water or rainwater. Try not to use tap water. You want the cleanest water you can get. So either distilled or rainwater.
I've got Darko here, and he's found a source, or he gets in a source of. Tell us what it is, Darko. Your special sea salt.
Well, sea salt that we have here that we buy is marketed as a sea salt, but actually, if you read the better packages, come from a mine. So it's sediment, it's rock salt, so it's depleted of magnesium. So we get the sea salt now here, specially shipped to us from Pura, which is coming from the sea. And it has magnesium.
So it is important, that is it?
Because I've done it with 3 different kinds of salt. I used regular white table salt, just the cheap stuff that you buy at the store. I've used pink sea salt, the Himalayan salt, and I've used the gray salt. And I've had roughly the same results. It's the salt content that you're really worried about.
Did you hear that? He used the really rubbishy sea salt, table salt. He used this, and he used the grey, that fantastic stuff we had in the Caribbean. And he said he got the same GANS results, so we can use that. Okay, thanks, John.
You're not going to be consuming the salt.
Right, okay. Now, just for everyone to understand what happens once you do, and do I put my light in there? Do I connect it to a light?
Well, there's one of the instructions says you put an LED, a light emitting diode, not a light bulb, but a light emitting diode. It's a little electrical component. But Mr. Keshe, when I asked him about it, he also said just one of the little computer fans will work just fine.
Oh,
So
yeah?
I've done it with just piece of wire, and I still had good results.
So I can do without the light with this?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so I put that in the box as well. So that's one component there to make CO2 GANs, yeah?
Yep. And then you would fill that box up with the salt water with the brine, but don't touch the copper wire. Okay?
Don't touch the copper wire.
Yeah, you only want the nano material and whatever your base material is.
Okay, so that's now let's move on to this one. This one has got, and we'll get the copper wire. This one has got the same thing, but I've got normal wire, and I connect the two pieces of copper.
You would have a nano copper and a plain copper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not what it said on the...
That's exactly what it said, Dave.
No, it said both of them are nano-coated.
No. I've never seen any situation where you put two nano plates in the same batch.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, but I misinterpreted it. So...
Okay. And the nano copper and copper is going to give you your copper oxide. And the GANs you get off of that should be a bluey green.
And so we can use a dirty copper, can't we?
Clean it.
Clean it. Limpia esto. Yeah.
There's another use for your citric acid.
Does it matter that is a different size, or do I because it's thinner?
Nope. No.
Okay, so I just put that and put it in sal marina. Sal marina. Sal marina. He's got the dirty sal marina here. It's a brown one.
Yeah, just make sure that you only get the salt water and not the sediment.
Okay. Si esto o esto.
Yeah.
10, how many percent again? I wanted to go over into Spanish now.
10 to 15.
10 a 15% de esto. Yeah. And is the water distilled water?
You want the cleanest water you can get. Distilled water or rainwater. Yeah.
Right. I'm getting 0.02 at San Roque on my water, parts per million. So that's closest to...
You should be fine.
Yeah, okay. Darko says that anything less than 19 is safe. So... Okay, so that's, and that gives me COU2 GANs.
CUO, yeah.
CUO GANs. Esto, conectar esto a esto con cobre y poner esto con sal marina y agua destilado y poner esto. Y how long? Which is the fastest one to make some GANs right now?
The iron and zinc, or iron and nano copper. That's the quickest one.
How long does it take?
You'll see results in 20 minutes.
Wow, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it'll be done in several days, but you'll immediately see the iron GANs forming.
Y conecta esto y esto. Pero cuando hace la GANs no toca el cobre, entonces hace un poco más pequeña. Porque no toca.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah.
Another thing that's very important, do not use alligator clips. Twist the wire onto your plate.
No use de cosas de metal con dientes.
Yeah.
No usa. John dice.
Para no rayarlo.
Sí.
Twist the wire onto your plates.
Yeah. Solamente con mano. Okay. Does it matter if we score the surface of this plate when we put it on?
Yes.
So, no, pone en esto nana, cubami.
Don't try not to disrupt your coating if you can.
Okay, thank you. We're going to clean that one. We're going to do that one. Now, what's the final one, John?
The final one, well, you got your zinc and copper, or zinc and nano copper, you've got copper and nanocopper, and you've got iron and nanocopper, or a steel nail, like just a plain old spike. It needs to be clean. You can use just about any piece of steel that you want, because steel is iron. It's just got a low carbon content.
So this one, no, not esto.
Well, the spike you've got, or the carriage bolt you have is zinc coated, so that's your carbon dioxide.
Esto y pone el dentro. Conecta con un cobre. Okay. Conecta con cobre. Tú tienes mucha energía cuando tomas. Sí. Y esto hace esto. So what's the next one? I've got 2 coppers, 1 nano-coated and 1 not. I've got a spring and a nail. What's the third one?
Well, your spring and your nail is your copper and your zinc. That's because you're using that carriage bolt for zinc. So the third one is nano-copper and steel or iron.
Dave, would you mind to tilt down a little bit the camera so we can see? I mean, is it possible?
We're looking at your chest. We're not seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Okay. So
you've got the 3 systems are nano-copper and zinc. However,
we're missing zinc, so we need a bit of zinc.
Well, your zinc is that carriage bolt because it's galvanized, correct?
Sorry?
Got a zinc.
Your zinc is the carriage bolt because it's galvanized, correct?
That one right
the zinc coated. That's this one.
Yeah. So there's your source of zinc.
So we can put that one with this one, this one.
And that'll give you a fluffy white goop on the bottom, which is your carbon dioxide GANs.
Carbon dioxide GANs. Okay. Let's do this right now because we got to convert it into Spanish each time. Does it matter if the nail's like that?
No, that'll be fine.
Que la ponga horizontal.
Horizontal. Does it matter if the copper goes into the salt solution?
Pero sí, a la vez tiene que dar ahí el óxido de cobre porque también se está en contacto con el alambre. Preferiblemente dejar espacios, bueno, más aislados de 1,5 centímetros. O sea, si quieren el GANS puro, pero como lo van a usar, me imagino, para las coils, para las bobinas, entonces pueden tener ahí la misma mezcla del zinc, CO2 y ¿qué? Sí, bueno, zinc, CO2 y cobre. Si es para eso, si ya es para otras cosas, pues bueno, no sé. Porque ahí el mismo material, el cobre, pues pasa también a ser el óxido de cobre si se tiene contacto con el mismo cobre en el agua.
¿Entiendes?
Dave, did you hear what Sergio said?
Not 100%. Go on.
What kind of GANs are you making? Are you making the pure GANs or the GANs for the coils?
Sorry, Marini.
That GANs is for the coil or for pure GANs? What kind of GANs?
This GANs is, what I've got here is copper and zinc. And he said, put the zinc down. My question was, does it matter if the copper wire connector to the nano-coated one is touching the salt water? I didn't understand what he then said.
O sea, él quería saber si hay algún problema, si está tocando el agua, ese cobre.
No, pues sale óxido también, pero muy lento. O sea, sale después de mucho tiempo.
He's saying that this is going to slow down the process. ¿Cómo sería más rápido?
¿Cómo así? ¿A qué te refieres? O sea, el óxido de cobre sale más lento que el de CO2.
Okay.
I didn't understand that.
If you can find a larger source of zinc, you're better off. That's pretty small. It's going to be really slow.
I've got a big zinc plate at home, so I'm going to cut those up.
Yeah, use that if you can.
Okay. Something like that, you know.
Get a zinc battery and just flatten it out.
Okay. Oh, right. You can even use just the battery.
The outside of the battery.
That's the battery. Cut the battery down the middle.
There's a can in there.
Clear everything out of it.
Yeah.
Wash it off. Clean it absolutely clean. And the whole case is made of pure zinc.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that one we can't do. So I'm going to take that out because we ain't got no zinc. And so that's one.
No sé.
¿Se puede cerrado esto? Y falta un tablero de zinc. Placa. ¿Cómo es? De zinc. ¿Una batería? ¿Tienes una batería?
Batería viejo.
Is that it? That's how you
Grande.
Pequeña.
Grande.
Sí. Grande. De.
Una batería para poner
Para
normal, como es,
para luz.
como es redondo.
Ah,
Batería. Batería. Sí, filo.
Pero de ese es mejor. De C.
El GANS, bueno, el del,
Sin mercurio ni...
o sea, el del GANS de CO2 al de zinc, si le aplican corrientes, voltajes muy altos, se puede sacar ya el óxido de zinc. El óxido de zinc es más blanco.
No, wait a minute.
Esto lo dijo.
Sí. Y conecta esto a esto, pero pone una otra aquí.
Pero él está haciendo eso, está tratando de sacar óxido de zinc.
Pónganle algo que consuma una batería. Pónganle un condensador, un motor en serie. ¿Carlos, ya me oye?
¿Y eso es para qué, Sergio?
Para que no entre la corriente directamente y cause el óxido o lo raspe. Porque la gracia del CO2 es que, bueno, o sea, ser CO2, o sea, que extraiga suave, ¿sí? Porque ustedes pueden ver, hacer dos pruebas. Lo ponen bueno, como dicen ahí, electrólisis pasiva, que es sin ninguna fuente de energía, apenas la energía del cobre recubierto y con la batería. Y pueden ver una diferencia. ¿Sí? Ahí pueden ver la diferencia en el zinc. O sea, el zinc es más blanco, el CO2 es más musgoso, más color nube. Entonces, para que hágalo con el óxido. El óxido es, bueno, en sí es raspar, pero el CO2 tiene otro proceso. Conecten prueben en condensador, bueno, de tal forma que consuma en serie o paralelo y pongan un motor en serie para que les consuma o sea, para que no llegue tanto la corriente, para que no llegue la corriente directamente a las placas y las estropee, porque después de un tiempo, o sea, el cobre va a cambiar, o sea, el GANS de cobre que uno quiere ver de cobre va a cambiar de color muy rápidamente. Entonces, hay que aplicarle bajos amperajes y ya tiene una fuente de poder, una fuente, yo creo, ponerle bajos amperajes, 3 o 4 miliamperios, poquito, muy poco, 1 o 2, y en voltajes demasiado bajos, o sea, apenas los que da la cobertura. Por ejemplo, si juntan la cobertura con el zinc y el cobre, les debe dar 50, 100 miliamperios, milivoltios, ¿sí? Entonces, entre el proceso más lento se va a obtener más GANS, y si lo quieren hacer rápido, van a tender a estropear el GANS, ¿sí? ¿Alguna persona ya me entiende? ¿Aquí habla ya español?
Sí.
No, pero me están oyendo allá, yo no oigo a nadie.
¿Hay algún ingeniero ahí de la tienda? ¿Ahorita?
Carlos, ¿sí me oyes?
Sí, yo sí te oigo, pero ahí no sé, ¿nos escuchan allá en Perú? ¿Hola? Es que se han quedado mudos. No pueden. ¿Hola?
Ahora sí, los estamos escuchando.
No, o sea, Sergio quiere saber si están entendiendo todo lo que él está hablando y lo que están viendo.
La parte de conectar el condensador hacia el motor.
Sí, o sea, la gracia es que la electrólisis sea suave, casi la misma energía que da el cobre recubierto, ¿sí? Porque si exceden en amperajes, en voltajes, pueden estropear el GANS y no les va a dar energía.
Podemos usar una pila.
Sí, pero ¿ustedes tienen allá fuentes regulables de voltaje y amperaje?
Sí, sí.
Bueno, pueden hacerla a 2 miliamperios, ¿sí? Y a 150 milivoltios directamente en las placas en vez de usar la pila. ¿Sí pueden?
No tenemos en este momento.
En vez de que la hagan ahorita mismo porque pueden estropear el GANS. El GANS, como ustedes saben, se crea las cosas de pequeño a grande y pueden estropear el nanomaterial. Va a cambiar de color si le aplican corriente de una pila que puede ser desde 400, 300 miliamperios, ya es mucho. Sí, puede ser bastante. Entonces, el proceso de por lo menos de crear un óxido, del óxido de cobre, el del CO2, si quieren CO2, van a ver la diferencia. Les va a salir el óxido de zinc y van a ver otra diferencia con el GANS en CO2. Sí, si le quieren aplicar corriente. ¿Sí, sí me entiendes, Carlos?
Sí, lo entiendo, correcto.
Sí, entonces, o sea, se les aconsejaría o miraran unos reóstatos para que le regulen, bueno, pues, fuentes regular el voltaje, pues, no sé cómo le harían, pero después, si tienen las fuentes, sí, que hay en bajitos amperajes, como te acabé de decir, sería mucho mejor para extraer los óxidos. El CO2 no sé qué proceso, al parecer es similar, pero no es igual. El CO2, o sea, para mí, en una fase, se viene bien la lámina. Para mí el CO2 en una fase, ustedes pueden notarlo, va a extraer CO2, después cuando la placa se vuelve más blanca, ¿sí? va a tomar otro color y les va a sacar el óxido del zinc. Y lo que van a hacer luego con esa electrólisis más fuerte es sacar el óxido del zinc y no van a sacar CO2.
Ok, correcto.
¿Entiende?
Hay que usar corriente bien pequeña.
Yeah, Marilith, can you get that translated for us? I think that's important. John was saying...
Sergio was saying that you guys have to be careful of not ruining the GANs. Like, o sea, le estoy diciendo a David que decías que tiene que ser cuidadoso en no arruinar el GANs, entonces que ser lento, ¿no? Que sea el paso de la electricidad, Sergio, ¿cómo dijiste del CO2?
O sea, si quieren experimenten y hagan la prueba. El CO2 va en dos fases. Primero está el CO2, o sea, uno lo ve y es como color nube, ¿sí? O sea, se asemeja mucho a la... Después, cuando pase a ser óxido del zinc, va a tornar un color más blanco, blanco.
Déjame traducirle primero porque se me olvida cuando es cosas químicas. You have the CO2 that it has two phases. One where al principio es blanco, ¿no?
Es como un color como nube. Después sí se ve como una hoja de papel más blanco.
Okay, at the beginning is like a cloud, and the first phase, and then when it's gonna be like a piece of paper. Eso es cuando es óxido de
zinc.
Ajá. When it's a zinc oxide, guys, does it make sense? Can you tell the difference?
There's a slight difference in the texture of between zinc oxide and CO2. Zinc oxide is thick and heavy like toothpaste, where CO2 is sort of fluffy. like cotton.
Exactly, like a cloud. Like exactly, that's what he's saying. See, you got that, David? You got that?
I think the guys, the engineers here have got that as well. So yeah, I'm going to make one here now because I've got the nanocoated material. I'm just wondering if it matters that I've got my fingerprints on it. What you say, John?
No, I think you're okay. As far as the zinc oxide CO2 issue goes, you're going to have a little bit of both. It's almost guaranteed. It's still going to work.
Okay. We've got Dan and Donald at the moment. They're stripping a battery, so it looks like we can do the zinc and the copper one right now, and we can just put that to one side, and we'll see if we notice anything in 20 minutes. That'd be really cool. So,
well, with the CO2, you're probably not going to see anything in 20 minutes. But the iron you will, because it's red. It shows up really fast.
Oh no, we've got esto y esto. Connect that. So that's this one and this one together.
No, that's a zinc-coated nail, so that's going to give you CO2. You want plain steel nail, no coating.
Well,
any piece of steel, Dave, even a piece of angle iron, as long as it's clean.
We can do that one right now. Because if we do one live, that's going to be pretty good to record and put out there. So
well, you can do your copper oxide. You've got all of the stuff for that. So I would, if you're going to do one live, do that one, which is nano copper and plain copper.
But you can see, we will be able to see something today. Is that what you're saying?
That's the copper oxide is very slow.
Well, that's the one that I want to do because that's the one you said that would go quicker.
Okay, then you want the steel. You want a nice piece of steel.
Okay, he's going to go and get a piece of steel right now.
Okay.
So,
and it needs to be clean, not oxidized, not coated with anything.
Exactly. Well, that's what that rusty nail turned out like. I mean, we could clean the rust off that, but it's probably too much work in the case of getting a ferreteria here and getting a nail. So, okay.
Hey, Dave?
Yeah?
Another thing I wanted to tell you, I learned the hard way. It took me like a long time to figure it out, trial and error, was the more surface area that you have submerged in that salt solution, the more GANs it will produce. So that when you have, a minute ago you had that copper in that tub laying down so that you could only fill that water up so far because the copper was way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But
so
if
you put that flat, you would say, more surface area.
right, and but on the copper, I mean on the nano-coated copper, a while ago, it was laying down in the bottom of the tub. If you were to hang it from that wire, bend the wire so it can hang from the top of the tub, you can fill the tub with more water and produce more GANs.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks, Sarah. That's an excellent tip.
Yeah, it's not so much a more GANs, it's faster. The more surface area you have, the faster your process is.
Right, but the more water you put in there, the more you can process.
Yes, definitely.
So keep that in mind. And also, in place of the alligator clips, what I have used also, if you have any zip ties, that you can just make a loop and hang it on the edge.
Right.
Yeah, you want to try not to bite into your nano coating at all if you can.
Right. I haven't got any zip ties here. We could probably find some.
Well, you can do the same thing with the wire that you're connecting the two together with. You just need to be creative.
And I also, at one point, put drilled holes in the sides of my tub. This was when I was nano coating, but you could do it the same with GANs.
Yeah.
And string a wire across the top of the tub and hang your plates or whatever metal in zip ties, dangling it into the water so that your copper wire doesn't touch the water.
Yep.
Those are just things I had to figure out by doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the system, once it's together and you look at it, you're going to realize it's really, really simple.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's hard to describe it, but it's one plate on one side, one plate on the other, a wire connecting them together, and you fill it full of salt water. That's it.
You can also on the iron or the nail that's not galvanized, use that for your CH3. You could take like 12 of them and bundle them together and tie them all together at the top.
Yeah.
With a wire, and you get more surface area that way if you don't have iron or for the CH3.
Metal, solamente un poquito
Yeah,
de metal.
A question that just came up in the chat, Don asked if you can use a battery to charge the water. You can, but you get a much better quality GANs if you take your time and go slow. There's lots of people using adding a little bit of electricity into the system, and their GANs production is really, really fast. As far as whether it's better, I can't really say if it's better or worse. I've done it both ways, and I wound up with a massive amount of GANs in a very, very short period of time. And I've also done it the slow way and wound up with a massive amount of GANs too. It did seem that the GANs I was making without added electricity was a higher quality. It was a more pure GANs. If you're going to use a battery, make sure the negative pole of the battery is connected to your nano coated plate. Otherwise, you're gonna strip off whatever your raw material is, and you're just gonna electroplate your nano coating.
Okay, thanks, John. I've got one of these nails, and I call them hard nails. They're the ones that go into, and it's got the striped lines down it.
Hardened steel.
It's hardened steel, Darko informs us.
Should be fine. It's just a very low carbon content, but it's still iron.
Yeah.
Okay, iron.
I have an interesting question. As I rip this battery apart, got the carbon rod from the middle.
Yep.
Wondering if that would go in your mix for adding carbon GANs to your mix.
Potentially, you could put it in your caustic to add the carbon into the caustic as well.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of different ways to do this. There isn't any specific right way. There's better ways, but I'm sure that carbon rod has a purpose. Sandor, one of the fellows in the admin group, he did an electrolysis process with his copper where he tried to electroplate the carbon rod, and what he did was clean that copper up beautifully. And
Wow.
when he coated it, his coating was flawless.
Hmm?
If you put the copper in the mix, in the mix you're boiling, it'll clean it up, won't it?
You can use citric acid to clean the copper. You can clean it with vinegar. Pretty much any acid will clean the copper, but you just have to make sure that you wash the acid really, really well, or it will neutralize all your caustic.
Usa de una lima or Coca-Cola as well would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
And
Ácido de cítrico.
ácido de cítrico. Mira.
No, limón, jugo de limón. No, citric acid, yeah.
Yeah. Citric acid.
But I bet that jugo de limón is más barato.
For those plates that you got out of the fridge, there's a lot of oxidization on those plates, and the citric acid bath overnight would clean that oxidization right up.
Okay. So when we got a copper plate like that we've taken off the fridges, best to sand all that first.
Yeah.
And then give it a bath of citric acid, yeah?
Yeah, that should clean it up really, really nice.
So, I mean, would you not even bother sanding it?
I haven't worked with that kind of copper, so I haven't gone through that process yet. You might want to try it with one, try it without sanding one, see the difference.
Well, we've got quite a nice looking plate now. Here, he sanded that down, so we can just give that. Well, I'm going to use that, to be honest with you, because I want to do it right now.
Yeah, that looks fine. That should be fine.
I'm going to put my hole in. And with Sarah's comments, oh my God, that's hard, isn't it? Matthew. That's not even touching it.
You got to make the noise, Dave.
Matthew.
Give him a hammer.
Martillo. We're nearly there here. I'm going to put you back onto what we're doing here because we're ready to do the first one. And
one thing that Sandor did with his copper plates was he took a pair of tin snips and he cut a little tiny strip up one side, but he didn't cut it right off. And then he bent that little strip up into a hook that he could hang over the side of his container.
Oh, very clever. I'm going to do that. I love invention. That's not going to work either, is it? Esto mejor. Quieres un tira aquí hasta aquí para usar esto para poner aquí. Y un hueco el dentro aquí para poner esto, conectar esto a esto y poner esto en la agua. Oh no, no, it's got to be the zinc.
Yeah.
Hasn't it, John? I'm getting all twiddling.
Well, you're doing all three, so it really doesn't matter.
And also, yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know.
that one goes with the metal, doesn't it? This one goes with the metal. Or metal.
Yeah, I'd probably put that one with your steel because you got such a small amount of nano copper there. It's going to slow it down quite a bit.
Well, ven aquí para ver. It's got to be pretty tight so that it's really got a good connection with the steel, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, muy duro. Con un buena conexión.
Yeah.
Tiene que ser hecho con alicate, ¿no?
¿De qué?
Con el alicate.
I don't know about spacing. It doesn't appear that the spacing has a lot to do with it, but I'm sure there's some effect.
Sarah Beckham might have something to say about that.
Which?
The spacing between your materials when you're doing your GANs.
Oh, I don't know. I know that you're not supposed to have it sitting on the bottom.
Yeah, it shouldn't be
So
in GANs itself. But
I think it's a matter of allowing the flow to go completely around the item.
Yeah.
Darko just said bye-bye to you, John.
Yeah, I saw that. See you later, Darko.
And, yeah. So, what we got here, guys? Oh, we got one ready now. So, I'm going to clean that.
Oh, it's a big guy. Yes, my boy. Oh, it's good stretch. That's a big, handsome boy. That's my boy.
You're the heat source. Alright, good a doggy. See one doggy. One little doggy.
Right, and I'm going to clean. So I've got some distilled water here. So so I should start mixing the saline solution now, shouldn't I?
Yeah, and you know, like it's not really critical, but you're looking, you know, in around 10-15%, 100 mil per liter.
So can you gauge that for us, Don?
What's that?
10-15% salt to the water.
15%.
There we go, making the noise now. So how much water is that? At my lab, I've got all these counter. So I've gone to.
How much have you got left in the jug? Measure it by the jug. Okay, you got about a little less than half a liter.
So I'm about 5/8 of an inch down from the top of that little cup.
Well, I'm looking at your jug. That's a 4-liter jug?
This is a gallon.
Okay, so it's 4.5 liters. So yeah, you're about a half a liter. So you're looking at 50 mil, 50, 60 mil of salt.
58 mil. Yeah.
Okay. So how much? So how much salt? Ah, look at this.
His ears are hanging.
Dan's just made the
Perfect.
zinc. So does it matter if it's dirty zinc?
I'd kind of give it a little bit of a polish with a rag.
It's had a polish with a rag, but have another one.
No,
I don't know what's in those batteries, so
Magnesium. No.
It would probably augment your GANs.
Manganese dioxide in the battery.
Oh, okay, so it's not poisonous or anything.
No.
Okay, so there's the zinc. Now, John, I'm connecting the zinc to a nano-coated copper, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. ¿Alguien quiere hacer esto?
Yeah.
¿Quieres conectar esto? And Sarah was saying that we put them that way. So what I'll do, he's got some horns on here. We've got the horns there. Look, he's left his ears on. So I turn those that way, and I can connect my copper below or into there. I've got a
little slot there.
Little slot. I can connect my copper into there.
Yeah, there you go.
As long as the copper's out of the water, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Okay, so we might have to suspend something across here, and then connect. And we've got that one now. So
okay.
So we put. It's virtually impossible not to get the copper in the water on this one.
It's gonna have to go in vertically.
Okay. So that will just go in there. Now we need to suspend a wire.
They both have to go in the water.
Pardon?
They both have to go in the salt water.
Yes, they do. But the copper wire connecting the two, from all the reports that I've gotten, that copper should stay out of the water.
That's right.
Now, he's making GANs for his reactor, which is going to be a mix anyway. So if it's got a little CuO contamination in there, I don't think it's really going to matter.
No.
So he's saying that you put it in vertically so the copper does not go in the water.
Put it in vertically like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just going to be a little slower, that's all.
All right. So
I can't see why it makes any difference because that's copper and that's copper.
Well, no, the nano-coated stuff, you're not seeing the copper anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so that one's good to go, as you can probably see.
And you should see a red precipitate within probably 15-20 minutes.
Let's mix some salt. So let's gauge the salt and take that out, because I've got to mix it with a spoon. ¿Tienes un cuchara? No, yeah, we got one.
You got some there, have you?
How much should we put in, Don? What? Give me
10%.
your
So this is-
your 10%, whatever you think.
So that's about a pint. That's what 500 cc's, and so 10% would be about 50 grams of that. So you cook in grams.
58 milliliters.
About that much.
No, it's 850.
Yeah, okay. Try it.
What about?
It isn't rocket science. If you're out a little bit, nobody cares.
about 50 grams of what it should be.
That's 2 ounces. That's quite a
Well,
lot.
we go by volume. So if we go a liter of water, we use 100 milliliters of salt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
So you want 10%, 10 to 15% of this whole volume. So you're certainly not over that. Oh, there you go.
That's enough.
Thank you, Sarah.
Little more than a fourth of a cup.
Wait, yeah, and we really mix this up until the salt's disappeared. It's going to take a
Yes.
while.
Yeah.
No, it should be just a few minutes.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long. If you got way too much in there, you can just pour off the brine, clean out the salt in the bottom, and put the brine back in.
This is chunks of salt. This is not
Rock
granulated
salt, it's called. Rock
Yeah,
salt.
it might take a little longer to dissolve.
Is it?
Dave, another clue is that wire to hold it from falling into the water. You could put some electrical tape, make a loop around it to stick it to the side so it doesn't fall in.
Yeah. Yeah, because only what's in the brine is going to be affecting your system. Well, this is going to make for an exciting YouTube vid, I can tell that.
Covered fabulous subjects, haven't we? And we're going to make one more. Es esto, conecta esto a esto. Y limpia esto y usa esto.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long does the copper to copper take, John?
For the copper oxide, it takes quite a while. That's the slowest one available.
So we leave it for how long? I just need to.
It's going to be at least a week.
A week, una semana con esto. Y se puede poner en tu casa para una semana. Okay.
and the tubs you're using, they're not very big, so you may have to do 2 or 3 batches to get enough GANs to do your reactors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Falta más grande.
Yeah.
Más grande.
Yeah.
Larger tubs, larger plates, it all matters.
Yeah.
That plate's a nice size. That's a good size plate that you had right there.
Bueno.
Yeah. ¿Cuánto más o menos de grande? O sea,
sí, pero poco más grande mejor.
Yeah.
Poco más grande, pero esto bueno, dice. Okay. And then the last one is this one and this one.
Yep.
And how long does that take?
That'll take a while. It'll take a week.
A
Get
week.
around there.
Yeah.
But this one we're doing now really dissolve.
Yeah, the iron is still going to take several days, but you should see results really soon, like within a half an hour.
You'll see a color change on that one.
Yeah, because it's red. It's really easy to see.
Oh, wow. Can't wait to see it. Okay, so I'm going to suspend some.
there, though.
Yeah, I'm going to see it in 20 minutes.
Thereabouts.
We're not heating these.
You don't need to.
Okay.
Room temperature is fine for that.
Yeah. So, una cobre. Now I need to turn around. Or should we do it down there? Can I move this once we've done it?
Historically, John, what did Keshe used to use for his source of GANs? He says he used to use some kind of radioactive material.
Oh, he's used all kinds of things. His initial reactors needed a tiny amount of radioactive materials to begin what's called a scintillation process, which is where the hydrogen and helium begin to interact and release energy. But we are so beyond that, we're not even looking back at that anymore. That was very first technology that came out. And now we're replacing that with the GANs that you're creating now.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And that one, you know, looking at that, Dave, that one's going to be slow because you don't have a lot of material in that water. So you might see effect right away. It will work. It's just going to be slow.
And we're talking a week?
Probably.
Well, we're going to do the other ones for a week, so I've got patience.
Yeah, and stick them up on a shelf somewhere, put the lid on nice and loose to keep the bugs out, and just let them do their thing.
Arriba, seguro, you know, animales, you know, niños. So what I've got here is the first GANS for Peru, and you think that will work, John? Anyone else?
It will work.
And Sergio, ¿tú piensas esto funciona, está bien para Perú?
Disculpa.
¿Tú piensas que tenemos aquí en esto balde funciona para hacer GANS?
No veo bien las conexiones.
¿Cómo?
No veo bien las conexiones.
¿Cómo improvisar esto? Acercarlo más. Mucha luz, creo. No quieres ver, veo.
Quiere ver eso.
Ah, sí.
Acá está el clavo de acero.
Hay algo que se oxida muy rápido. Ustedes, esa esponjilla de brillo de ollas, esa delgadita para limpiar ollas. No sé, hay alguien que me escuche en español. Es suave, es para brillar ollas.
La verde, esa verde, Sergio.
¿Ya?
Una esponjilla con que también creo que también pulieron las láminas de cobre. Es una esponjilla de hierro, de metal. Que brilla.
Ajá.
A ver. Pero más fina, más delgada.
Lija al agua, lija al agua. Una lija al agua.
Para coche.
Ajá.
¿No quiere?
Sí. Una lija, porque lija no sirve para lijar.
No. Bueno, es que no sé cómo le llaman allá en Perú. ¿Quién habla allá español?
Yo.
Sí, estamos.
¿Quién más?
Héctor,
bien. Ustedes son, pues me imagino, no sé si allá también es la misma marca, que es una esponjilla Bombril.
Sí, esa es la verde.
Es suave, es la más fina.
Sí.
¿Sí? Esa se oxida rapidísimo. Entonces ustedes pueden hacer un tipo de bola, un tipo de esfera, con el... Y en vez del clavo le ponen esa esponjilla.
No, él está hablando de este brillador. ¿Podrías abrir este brillador para mostrarle?
No, no es muy grueso.
¿Es muy grueso?
Espera, a ver cuál es.
¿Abierto para mostrarle?
Yo tengo...
No, esa es lija.
Lija no.
Lija no. Tiene que ser el brillador porque eso se oxida rápido. Ese brillador ese que está en la bolsita, el Clorox, pueden abrirlo, porque tal vez lo pueden cortar, Sergio. O sea, tal vez lo pueden cortar por la mitad.
¿Esponjas de hierro?
Sí, es de hierro. Es de hierro
sí.
muy fino.
Ajá.
Sí, o solo un turo.
Ya.
Pero ese es cobre.
Sí, es cobre.
No, esa es muy gruesa.
Ay, está diciendo que eso es cobre.
No.
La
que les digo es de hierro. Y no sé si eso sea cobre tampoco, también. Sí, pues yo creo que me entienden, los de Perú me entienden.
Sí, lo entendemos.
Es de hierro muy fino, o sea, tú lo quemas y prende.
Sí, exacto.
Pero no sé si la venden en Perú. O
Sí,
sea, esta es la plateada, mejor dicho, la plateada.
Sí existe. plateada.
Sí, esa plateada, ¿no? O sea, pero él quiere la finita, no la...
Sí,
No
la
es,
más fina, la más fina. Casi cuando uno raspa se desintegra.
Sí, lo vamos a conseguir, estamos buscando.
Ah, vale, vale. Entonces, esa esponjilla, al contacto con el agua, ustedes saben que se oxida rápido. No sé, yo creo. ¿Cierto? Cuando uno brilla ollas o medio le pone agua, se oxida, ahí se ve. Ese genera más rápido óxido que un clavo. Entonces pueden hacer una especie de bola o esfera.
Ah, sí.
Y hacen el contacto con el alambre del cobre y el otro nano recubierto. Y les saca un buen de GANS. Necesitan, el GANS de hierro o el CH3. El CH3 es diferente. La gente confunde el CH3 con el GANS de hierro. El CH3 es zinc, hierro y cobre nano recubierto. ¿Sí? O sea, el CH3. ¿Sí? Si alguno me está oyendo ya.
Ah. Sergio, tenemos, eso no es un Scotch Rite.
No.
Eso es un tela, pero mira, tienes un metal fuera.
Sí, pero es puro metal, no otra cosa.
Voy a ver en la Inmaculada acá ahorita.
Ah, see, he's going to go and get something different.
Yeah, the Scotch Brite that we have here, Dave, is just the green plastic abrasive.
No, this is metal.
This is metal in cloth. It's not Scotch Brite.
Oh, okay.
It looks like our steel fibers.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I've never seen this either. Steel fibers woven into the plastic, into the
cloth.
The cloth.
It's cloth, and it's like a sponge on the inside.
Okay, it's probably stainless steel, which is a fairly high nickel chromium content.
Yeah, agreed.
Which you can also use for GANs as well. I mean, you can use anything. You can make GANs out of anything.
I just had a Brillo pad.
Finger.
And you puncture it with that nail, stick it in there, that would work.
Well, I've used copper scrubbies. They're like Brillo pads, except for they're just pure copper.
Es esta.
I've used those, and they work just great.
Es este tipo de esponjilla. Ahí les pasé el link por el chat de Zoom. Es ese tipo de esponjilla.
It's copper. It is copper.
Yeah, that doesn't look like, that looks like brass.
Miren el chat, Los que me oyen allá, miren el chat. Ahí les envié el link con una imagen.
Yeah, hold on.
Tiene la imagen.
I agree, it looks like brass.
Looks like brass to me too.
¿Quién está al lado del computador ahí? Carlos, me imagino.
A ver, póngale la
It
imagen.
says copper on the label, but I agree, it looks like brass.
La imagen en el chat.
Chat. 93. Oh, Jesus. Alternate energy to everyone. It's Sprewmaster. Peru gem. Peru gem.
Yeah, that definitely looks like brass rather than copper.
¿Qué es Peru gem? Esto.
Yo creo que la deben reconocer allá.
Mira, eso composición, alambre de cobra, casa región China. Alambre de cobra, esto es alambre de cobre.
No, eso está diciendo que no se use alambre de cobre, sino de
Sí vieron el link, ¿verdad? Los que atrás me entienden. Esas esponjillas de hierro para brillar ollas.
Sí. Pero no hay.
No
lo tenemos ahorita, pero sí yo le
Pero sí pueden acceder a ella. Bueno, ese hierro oxida rápido.
Yeah.
Okay. Y entonces, what I want to try and establish here, Marinith, is with Sergio, what was his original criticism of what we've got here? Why do we need to do something? I don't understand what we have to do.
No entiende qué tiene que hacer en ese caso.
Little bit of iron in there, that's all.
Ah,
more surface area.
And we can't use that.
No.
Well, you can use the zinc, but that's for the zinc, not for the CuO.
We need
Or
to
the
connect that one.
CH3, sorry.
Esto a esto. Bueno, esto.
Sergio, o sea, Dave decía qué es lo que le falta a lo que ha hecho.
O sea, para hacer el CH3, bueno, o sea, es como la misma mezcla para producir ahí los mismos GANs. Tienen que poner en serie el zinc, el hierro y el cobre nano recubierto para hacer el CH3, o sea, el dichoso CH3. O sea, como para acelerar, es para acelerar el proceso entre el óxido de zinc
Are
o
you
el CO2.
making CO3, Dave? Are you making CO3?
CO3,
CO2.
CO2.
That's the zinc and nano copper.
Yeah,
No,
we're just doing that.
está haciendo el CO3, Sergio.
CH3.
No, no lo está haciendo. Ahorita está haciendo el CO2.
Bien. Sí, o sea, para aclararle la diferencia, sí, porque mucha gente confunde el CH3 con el GAN de hierro.
No. Él está haciendo el otro, el CO2.
Bien. Entonces
está bien todo.
yo creo que las personas de allá me entendieron. Después para hacer el de hierro también las puntillas sirven, pero hay que esperar, o los clavos, para esperar a que se oxide. El cobre nano recubierto, siempre se demora, entonces pues a lo posible si tienen una fuente regulable de amperaje. Allá yo creo que Carlos me entendió.
Sí,
El negativo siempre al lado nano recubierto, porque donde saca el positivo es donde entra la energía, entonces desintegra la placa nano recubierta más rápido que el otro sentido del polo, pues. Entonces siempre el positivo en la placa nano recubierta. El negativo en la placa nano recubierta.
Ajá.
Y el positivo.
Con un hueco.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna make a move. Thank you very much for everything. I mean, I got a lot of things, clarified. Like I was reading in the air, I mean, regarding all this, and now I got like more, more of a picture. I mean, I got things clear, and now I'm gonna get in. I mean, keep following up all this. Wow, looking forward for the result.
Marinita, you have cleared up a lot, and what we've got is a recording here of GAN and nano coating and making the bobbins and putting the power reactor in the middle of it, all converted into Spanish. We've actually achieved the impossible. So really, with your help, it's been tremendous, because every single word that Sergio says is very important backfeed to our team as well, because he's been criticizing certain things, and then John's had to diagnose why, and we've got Dan and Donald here. They too have contributed. So all in all, it's a great all-round performance. How long do you think the recording's going to be, John?
Well, we're pushing a little over 3 hours now.
Wow. Yeah. Time has just flown, I tell you. You probably have that uploaded by about 2016, won't you?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Okay, well, we will record it, and to tell us what you're going to do with it, you're going to pass it out, and I'll put it on xi4.com.
Well, when I get it done and get it edited, I'll have it up on my YouTube site, Peniton John 001.
And
links will be everywhere. Dave will have a link on XI4. I'll have links in the Skype rooms all over the place. It'll be easy to find.
Okay.
And the other thing is that Dave, make Sergio and Carlos interact more, because Sergio wants to know what's available there, and so Carlos, can give him that feedback. So
I just want the final word really with Dan, because you see, basically he's talking about trust having quite large projects, and therefore, Dan, would you consider, you've seen the quality of teamwork that we've got here, and with your interaction and with Donald and with these guys speaking Spanish, we've converted it over to Spanish. What would you see in the future that we would be able to interact and...
Sí, tenemos que hablar.
For jobs?
O sea, para que tomen en cuenta unas,
Yeah.
o sea, unas teorías que pues pueden ser, o sea, es como los contras de hacer las bobinas o a no recurrir la casa, ¿sí? Después podemos hablar, o sea, con la gente que directamente entra en materia para hacer otro tipo de pruebas para, o sea, para que ellos mismos descarten que el sistema sea, o sea, totalmente seguro y se puede usar por lo menos en cualquier casa. Otra cosa es para usarlo en una fábrica, o sea, en teoría puede pasar algo en contra y después podemos hablar con ellos, podemos hablar para que prueben el sistema, bueno, o sea, no directamente en la casa, sino que hagan un panel independiente, ¿sí?
Claro,
Porque
claro.
no es simplemente, o sea, las pruebas como tal, porque ustedes tienen intenciones de industrializarlo. Tienen que hacer un panel independiente al local o a lo que le consume, ¿sí? Bueno, la fuente va a salir de la misma, o sea, de la misma energía, pero tienen que hacer un panel que contengan switches, resistencias, ¿sí? Lo que comúnmente se consume. Sí, después hablamos de esa cuestión, pues si quieren más tarde o bueno. Cuando
Claro,
les
no,
dé
yo les
tiempo a
estoy diciendo
Carlos,
a
a ver si quiera a Dave.
que entres en contacto con Carlos para que
Sí,
empiecen
con Carlos o los ingenieros directamente que pues están interesados en el tema para pues, profundizar un poco más en las pruebas, no simplemente enchufarlo y que nos dé más ahorro, no más.
Claro. So what Carlos is, Sergio is saying, like, he want to give his, input, based on his experience, and then with JC, and you check, like, the idea is to get to the better, based on experience, the better, we get, to improve, to get to the right, right blueprint, right model. So he has doing his things.
David Squires, could you mute? David Squires, could you mute? Thank you.
I got it.
Sorry, Marinate, please continue.
No, so basically just join all the experience, all the different trials that are going on everywhere, like Sergio there in Colombia, the same way, with Vivek and JC, to get like to the best, the best example, the best model. So that's why Sergio is basically saying. So I'm telling Sergio, with Dr. Dan, he also speaks Spanish, no? Spanish.
He's doing a very good job. But he's got something to say to you, and if you can, just before you go, can you pass it on? It's extremely important what he's just said to me now.
Okay. So Sergio will have to be in touch with Carlos and Dr. Dan,
Okay.
He would...
Espera un momentito, Sergio. Dr. Dan, ¿quieres decir una cosa para ti?
Well, you want me to say it. We will have funding for, I think it's very shortly, we'll have funding to put all these processes together. I have a industrial engineer who can work with people like Sergio and John and coming up with a production method. And then let's start getting people paid for their efforts and start being productive and producing. I do want to see something work before I commit to having, to funding projects, but we can certainly fund research before we fund production. That's where I'm at.
Ajá. Sergio, el doctor Dan está diciendo que él puede financiar todo lo que es estas investigaciones en estas pruebas antes de ver la producción, ¿no? Final.
Oh, wow.
Entonces, si estarías interesado en ser parte del equipo, ¿no? Para que sería bueno que estés en contacto, ¿no? Con él y...
It's a precipitate of some kind.
Yeah.
¿No, Sergio? ¿Sergio?
Sí, sí lo vi, me lo entendí un poco, gracias Mati, por la
Y porfa,
sí, pues bueno, o sea, yo creo que no se debe gastar mucho en las pruebas para que los sistemas enanos recubran solos, o sea, que funcione solo con la electricidad, toma bastante tiempo que un alambre por sí mismo se nanorecubra. Entonces, el panel, creo que ustedes pueden hacer, es muy sencillo, va a ser muy corto, que tenga un sistema de switches y resistencias, pero muy corto, o sea, que a corto tiempo se nanorecubra o lo que uno piense que se nanorecubra, porque yo aquí tengo, bueno, un sistema pequeño de unas celdas desde CO2 y he notado que el cobre en ciertas partes se nanorecubre. ¿Sí? Entre otras pruebas de otros compañeros que ya después de tener sistemas de, celdas de GANs que tengan ahí que ver con el cobre nanorecubierto, se va nanorecubriendo ciertas partes de plástico, y las partes de plástico pueden ser conductoras, ¿sí? Para que le digas acá.
Okay, Marinette, I'm sorry we're keeping you out of your bed, but can you just give us what?
No, I mean, guys, I have to update myself also with all these technical terms that, like, how to, like, say it in English. Sergio, estás diciendo que usar cobre que sea cubierto de plástico, eso es lo que...
O sea, este sistema nanorecubre los cables de cobre, ¿sí?
Ajá.
Y después de un tiempo, de la interacción con un switch de plástico, porque eso toca probarlo, o con un sistema relays, que allá los ingenieros me entenderán.
A ver, le voy a traducir esto.
O sea, el plástico lo puede volver conductor.
Ajá.
Probablemente lo puede volver conductor.
Sí, pero no, he's saying, guys, are you gonna cover this copper wire, or you're gonna use the wire covered with plastic?
No, it's bare. No, es crudo, Sergio.
No, dice que no es bueno, eso no, con el plástico, Sergio.
Bueno, por eso toca hacer las pruebas. O sea, toca que hagan un panel independiente y con sus medidas, diferentes tipos también de nanocobertura. Porque, por ejemplo, la que se hace con soplete, al parecer, o sea, tiene unos mejores enlaces que la cobertura normal que hacemos con los químicos. El método de John es muy bueno usar una vasija de barro para nanorecubrir constantemente en calor, es muy bueno. También hay que probar la nanocobertura en sumergidas en los GANs, ¿sí?
Ajá, claro.
Sí. Entonces, esos tres tipos de nanocobertura, hay que mirar cuál es más eficiente a cierto tipo de tiempo y a lo posible probándolos a la misma vez. ¿Sí?
No,
tanto las unidades para carros que necesitan un tipo de, así se entiende, yo lo entiendo así, son tipos de rectificadores, discúlpame, es que no sé si le estoy hablando a las otras personas, a los ingenieros, pero bueno, no sé qué aquí podrías traducir. Para los carros se necesitan un tipo de rectificadores para que llegue la corriente en DC y pues pueda tener un ahorro también, no sé allá las posibilidades. Sí, aquí va una pregunta abierta específica. Las unidades que quieren producir, ¿solo son para casas o también para carros?
I mean, he's asking about the energy units that you guys are trying to produce. Are they for home or for, I mean, for cars, for both?
The difference between the home unit and the car unit is only in the way the capacitors are set up. That's the only difference. And if you go to the blueprint site, there's details about that.
O sea, si te vas a al blueprint, blueprint, al modelo de Magraph, ahí vas a ver que los capacitadores varían para carro y después para lo que es el hogar.
Sí, pero entonces le hablo específicamente aquí al grupo de Dave. O sea, empezando van a hacer las pruebas para la corriente doméstica, para las casas, y también van a producir para carro. O sea, la pregunta va para Dave.
No, I mean, Dave, he's interested in knowing what kind of unit you are interested in developing there.
We're going to be developing all of them. There's no reason to not make all of them. And you know, we've got Juan, who's not even here today, and he's a metallurgist he just rattle these off. And once we've got, you see, I think what we need now, and Angela's very good at this, and it's one of the reasons she's come here, and she likes what she sees, is that she knows that she's got a job here, and her job is to structure this very 3-hour meeting that we've had today, and we've got to structure the components. Look, we've even seen Vivek in Singapore with the beginnings of a working unit. So when we have made one working unit, just the same as Vivek, what will happen the other sectors will fall off as a byproduct of making one unit, and therefore we then structure that, and Angela will structure that for us as well. So that's the way I see it. It's a structure, and then what you do, what I'm learning very fast, is you give that structure over to Dan, and Dan goes and tears off and goes and sees if he likes it, he goes off and sees if he can get it funded. That's the way I see it. Dan, is that sort of
okay. Sergio, lo que él dice es que, por ejemplo, mira, Vivek está desarrollando su propia unidad de energía, ¿no? ¿Viste? Es lo que él decía. Y así, si cada uno desarrolla su unidad y se la muestra al doctor Nam, él ve si le convence, él la financia, básicamente. ¿Sergio?
Sí, está entendido. Bien, pues la gracia es que ustedes tengan allá y vean de primera mano cuál tipo de cobertura, e inclusive no siempre seguir el mismo esquema, como por ejemplo este esquema que les mostré. Es muy probable que no tenga saltos y sea un poco más eficiente. Me tocaría hacer las pruebas, sí, o sea, no.
Exacto,
o sea, es una teoría que en parte tiene lógica, pero hay que hacer las pruebas, en pequeño. Y de igual forma también en grande. Hay métodos, también hay que pensar en los métodos de producir, porque dependiendo de eso, bueno, la indumentaria o la maquinaria que tengan para producir es más, hay diferentes formas de hacerlo. Pues de primera mano se les aconseja que ellos hagan todo allá, que pueden ver sí, o sea, pueden ver todo lo que hagan, de qué forma lo pueden analizar y cuál es más viable tanto en producción, o sea, que mejores rendimientos, pero que también en producción no se demore tanto, que es lo que se quiere. Por ejemplo, los chinos ya están produciendo moldes, o sea, ya manera más técnica, pueden acceder al puro alambre, al puro alambre, sin necesidad de quitarle ninguna cobertura, que ese cobre es desnudo. Después pueden usar otro calibre de alambre. O sea, hay muchas pruebas por hacer, ¿sí? Claro. O sea, bueno, primero se inicia con la enseñanza, bueno, que nos dejaron de Blueprint, y después pueden hacer variaciones. Pueden probar hasta si con el GAN sirve o con el GAN no sirve. Yo tengo aquí una muestra que el GAN verdaderamente extrae la energía sin destaparlo, o sea, en un brazalete va a extraer la energía. Pero pues hay que probar, hay que hacer muchas pruebas y variaciones y primero pues hay que empezar con la base.
Claro, claro.
No sé de ahí que pueda sacar.
I understood that to be mass producing that he was talking about there. What Sergio was saying there, and Dan just made a classic statement that even Keshe has said that we're going to be wanting 1 million production areas for these things.
Oh yes.
And that's where we are. Just quickly, please, because I want to get this one done and put up on the shelf. These, John, are they big enough?
The oblong one is about the same size of the ones that I use.
The square one, well,
they'll work.
So
Yeah,
we get them right up to the top and then dunk the things in and get a bit more. There'll be a lot more salt in these, and these will be better production units.
Yeah, and get the largest plates that'll fit in there.
Well, I ain't got none because we
I understand that, but keep your eyes open for larger pieces to work with.
Yeah,
Dan, I'd like to talk to you a little bit. The white precipitate that I showed you a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
A little story about that. My dog Ruff, he's a Bernese mountain dog, and since he was about 6 months old, he has had this patch of eczema on his butt that nothing could touch. And I've tried absolutely everything for 1.5 years, and nothing would even slow it down. And it was so bad that it was driving him crazy. So I took about 0.5 cc of that white precipitate, put it on a paper towel, put it in a baggie, and this spent about 3 minutes on his behind, and his skin is perfectly clear now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
The white precipitate that you're looking at is a matter state energy field of everything. And it is intelligent, it's conscious, and it will do what you ask it to do. I know it completely sounds totally Star Trek science fiction, but it's not. There are so many people who are doing this exact same thing. Libby, she's still here. She on yet? She's still here. She makes copper coils and infuses the coils with these energies. Her cats love them. When I make the health pens, like these little pens here, my dogs love these things. They love the pads. And the animals are giving me an accurate opinion because they have no preconceptions. They have no notions. They just know what works.
Libby, come in, please. Let's have a little word with you.
Yeah, okay, can you hear me?
Yo, lovely, yeah.
Okay, so this is the stuff I'm playing with. I have GANs too. I wanted to show it to you, but it's in a Omega thing container, and I didn't know if there was a copyright infringement on it or not.
No.
But anyway, I'll cover that. And so this is what white GANs looks like. I don't know if you can see my camera. Can you see underneath in there that fluffy stuff?
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of. Well, maybe if I put this view. It's very interesting stuff, and this could be a combo of carbon, CO2, and zinc oxide, because this was the second batch of Omega Quantum stuff, and yep.
Let me change the view. Speak of view, and where the Peruvian guys want to take a photograph of that.
Okay, let me just see if I can get that showing. Is that I can't see what's showing.
Lift it up a bit. Up. There. Oh, a little too high. Right there.
Talk as well, Libby, because we get the full screen view.
Yeah, hold it right there and talk.
And talk? Okay.
Yeah, Rob,
so,
John.
Then John will disappear and
there you go.
That's it.
Okay. And I've made CO2 paint pads with this, and it works really, really well. On the top of this is amino acid. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's called amino acid, eh?
Yep.
Lots of grease.
Yeah.
I'm a babe in the woods and I'm having a great time with this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can tell you that one night I was playing around with this and a moth came and it just flew right into the side and just didn't want to leave. The world is excited by this stuff. It has life. It nurtures me. It tells me, okay, take care of yourself. I'm just amazed by this stuff. Now, I did make something. I have no idea what it is. I'll show it to you. But you're talking about red, and I thought I used a copper nail. What did I do with that?
That looks like CH3 to me.
Oh, cool! Yay! So, but I thought it was a copper nail, and it was a copper nail, and what was it? 2 copper nails. I was trying to make copper oxide. So one was a nano-coated copper side, and the other one was a copper nail. And this is salt water from the ocean. And there's some really interesting stuff at the bottom. And I haven't used it for anything yet, but and I tell you, you do need to be careful, but you also need to understand this is very, very powerful.
Oh yes. If you were to put that in a pad and say put it in a breast pocket,
yeah,
you go out all day and work and you just never get tired, and you wouldn't know why.
The copper oxide or the CO2?
No, the CH3. The CH3 is pure energy.
Woo! I got some. All right, good. I didn't even know what I had, but I'll do that. I am having so much. I'm being playful and very reckless might be the right word, but you know, I reached a certain stage in my life that, yeah. The other side is I say reckless and I'm terrified of caustic. So there you go. What I've been doing, Dave, is I'm letting the sun and the elements nano coat my copper wire. So I live by the ocean, get a lot of rain, a lot of salt, and it's turning black, but slowly. But I figured I'd use that for the leads in my pens or something like that. But I use stuff without even nano coating, and I tell you, you can feel the energies. It's just amazing. This little thing seems to amplify sound. I put it on a gong, and it amplifies the deep sound of a gong. You know, I do a lot of meditations with gongs, so I know what the sound sounds like without this. And the high tones come up much sooner without this than with this. It just keeps the deep tone going really well.
You're giving me a great idea with that one. You could use that just the same way as the guy used the glasses and wrap the other bit around the back of your head, use it as a pair of glasses, and that would repair, not only probably would activate your pineal gland, but it would activate your eye muscles that are dying when you get to my age anyway. So
I'm older than you, Dave, so I'm going for it. and I wore it as a bracelet to a market yesterday, and a friend of mine who's quite deaf, who's a beautiful artist, I told him how this was amplified sound, and suddenly I could hear the sounds he couldn't hear before. He said, "Oh, what's that sound? Oh, what's that sound?" So somehow, just this little combination, and it's just they're not. This is 2 pieces. It works, and you know I do live with my imagination. She is my best friend. So, but when others also pick it up, I think, okay, cool. So yeah, I'm having fun, but I'm doing it Liberty's way, and I think that's what's so great, Dave and everybody else. We're each contributing our own unique understanding, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I do human design, and with your human design, one of your conscious aspects that you have, as opposed to the subconscious aspects, is you have your own unique perception on everything. So you're a working model of it.
I'm having so much fun. And I love these kind of workshops because they're more intimate. We can share with each other. And I've learned so much just watching the whole chaos flowing into understanding. It's beautiful.
It's here, and we had a discussion yesterday with 70 people who have got projects all over Peru. I mentioned right at the beginning of the show. And Dan said, it's coming. And I said, you've got free energy for your projects now. It's here, they're working. And I think we're, as a collective, aren't they fantastic, aren't they? As a collective, I think we're on the way now. And we will bring the event to change. We are it.
We are.
Yeah, with Libby's copper devices, you got to keep in mind that there is a very, very fine nano coating on those devices. If she was to actually do a full-on nano coating, she would increase the power of her devices by several orders of magnitude.
Wow. You understand that, Libby?
The nano coat, I mean, the powers, yeah, well, I understand it would pull in the radioactivity, wouldn't it? It would bring all the radioactive materials into this to make it superconductor?
Well, it's not radioactive, but you got the right sort of idea.
Yeah, okay.
It would draw in the ambient plasma to a much greater degree.
Does anyone else want to contribute here and show us something that we haven't seen before? Because that was a great display, Libby, and we can make reference to that on the recording. Thank you very much. And
anybody got any questions or anything they want to show?
Yeah, you got David Squires, Sarah Beckham, Don Greenfield. Anyone want to just? Wow, we got the water changing colour. It's going yellow, yellowy.
Yellowy brown,
Mostly around
it is actually. It's down the far end. It's sort of like a blanket here, isn't it? Yeah. We're getting. Maybe we should show this to people because the object of this is to educate. So.
Yeah, be very gentle with it. Don't stir it up too much.
Yeah, because it won't show.
You probably have the best view there because the element is at the back. So
we can't really bring you back. Yeah, it's not going to show up on your camera, not quite yet.
I doubt it, but there is a change. It's like somebody's sneaked in and peed in it.
Yes, that was just all I had. Just like 10p.
Yeah, tomorrow morning when you get up and you look at it, there's going to be a red, sort of a red sludge at the bottom.
Mañana, cuando busca esto, eso tienes una sludge.
Tinte.
¿Cómo? Tinte. Tinte de rojo. And then what happens later on?
Well, just let it build up. You need lots of it, Dave. You need a total, all three mixed together, you need about 2 cups worth.
Wow.
See if I can get a picture of that.
Okay. Okay, so, well, we've learned how to do it. No excuses. We can just get on with it now. Yep. So, I'll have a word with Hector. It's been great having you here, Hector, and it's been wonderful in the shot here. Hector's, thanks to this guy, and Carlos is not here today, but Hector is the owner of the Chada here, the shop that made these T-shirts. So, so we've got a lot in common already, and we're going to be mass producing this now. We've understood it. So, thanks very much, John. It's really clear now.
Good. I'm glad I could clarify it for you.
Thank you, Sergio. If he's still here. Thank you, Sergio.
Okay. Entonces, cuando quieras, cuando quieran allá, podamos hablar y ya, listo. Me tengo que ir. No sé si siguen en la reunión. Y bien, bueno, muchas gracias a todos y listo. Nos vemos.
Saludos. Gracias, Sergio. Anyone else? Dan, Sarah, Don, David Squires? Anyone else?
Don just asked in the chat about GANS production with food, and there is a process where you can infuse the energy of your food or cannabis or tobacco or pretty much anything into water. And when you drink that water, you get a meal, or just like you smoked your cannabis or ate your cannabis.
That's like Alex's cup, isn't it? Cup of life.
Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Okay. You can infuse it with strawberries and bananas and fruit and whatever you want. You can put that energy in the water, and then the water will carry that energy into your system.
So do you call that cannabis?
I suppose you could.
Dice, tú tienes una taza con estos GANs y pone la agua al dentro y pone tu comida sobre esto y esto líquido es tu comida.
¿Sí?
Sí. But you put a little bit of your skin in one of them as well, so it reads you.
If you want to make it specific to you, then yes, you would apply your DNA to it.
Coge un poquito esto, pone esto, y esto es solamente para ti, tu comida.
But that's primarily for healing processes, Dave?
DNA. Sí. ¿Cómo?
That's primarily for healing processes.
Uh-huh.
If you're making the cup specific for someone, it's going to be to heal a cancer or, you know, something specific to them.
Right, okay.
They're just a general basic food cup. You can make a cup with the energy of a 5-course meal in it. And everybody who drinks from that gets a 5-course meal.
Pone de energía de una grande comida. Y cada persona que toma de líquido dentro es una grande comida. So,
But the next step for that, this is even cooler, is you can do that to your reactor, and the field that's around that reactor will contain your food. So all you need to be is near your reactor.
Wow.
Just like the plants absorb the energy from the sun, we can absorb that energy directly from our reactors.
I'm just wondering who Ellie is there now. Who's Ellie? Ellie, come in, please. No, you're muted, Ellie. Unmute yourself. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm from Montreal.
Hello. Hi, Ellie.
Heard me today, so it's my first visit.
Okay. Welcome. And what's it like for you to see all this going on?
I'm enjoying. Hello, Don. I'm enjoying immensely. I just started in October with Keshe videos, so I'm very interested because I do reflexology, access bars, energetic healing, reconnective healing, so Reiki and all these things. So I see that I'm going to enjoy very much the Keshe instruments.
You would find a lot of use with the CO2 GANS pads for your healing processes. And that's just the CO2 GANS, a little tiny bit. There's about a half a cc on a paper towel in a baggie.
Okay.
And put this on what hurts.
Where do I find those bags from, John? Or can I use a Ziploc bag?
That's what this is a Ziploc. It's just a sandwich bag.
I have a question. Keshe says that we can use even roots and plants. Would this be okay for nano coating?
Well, if you're using plant roots and plants, they are already coated. They're already GANs. They're already nanomaterials. You don't have to process them anyway. Okay. We don't know how to do that yet. Okay. But it is that the math works.
Okay.
We're just we haven't found anybody clever enough to actually go and try it.
And don't forget that the coconut liquid inside that juice inside the coconut is nano coated.
Well, it's the coconut water. Before you open the coconut, it's GANs.
Yeah.
As soon as you open the coconut and expose it to the matter state, then it becomes coconut water.
Yeah.
It's the same with your blood. It's the same with your internal organs. It's the same with your brain.
And with biochar,
I was in Cuba, and it was early in the morning. I went for a walk, and the guy was collecting the coconuts. So I said, "Can I buy one?" So I drank it immediately. And that night I had a kidney pain, and it's gone. It was gone for a very long time. It was just from the tree, very fresh and on the spot.
Oh, yep. Nice to take it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm happy to meet you guys. I hope you have it every Sunday.
We're trying to, yes, desperately, because there's so much different things to learn. And we need the production of the GANs to make the first reactor in Peru. So is to stay focused on this is important. So John, I think that is a good question. I think we should do this next Sunday as well. And I'm going to speak with Hector here. We might be able to use here again, I don't know. Or we could go to LG. But we might have a bit of GANs to talk about next week. And then we'll do GANs, and then we've got to do the different GANSes and start connecting the bobbins together. And like that. So that will be next week, okay?
Yeah. One thing I really would strongly suggest, when you do your first nano coating process in the crock pot, do it on something that doesn't matter. Don't do your first one on your coils. You know,
well,
get some pieces of
nano coating, John.
Yeah, get some pieces of wire, make some health pens, something that, you know, don't wreck your coils just in case something goes wrong with your nano coating process. Do the first one on something that doesn't matter.
When I did the first one, I was obviously, the first three, I was shit scared, you know?
Yeah. And well, you did that in the jungle too, so.
A little woman coming out of a little house, and she got a little pot of hot water, and it's not hot enough. She had to run back and put it on the fire.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I nano coat in the crock pot with salt water and put it on at low all night.
Well, you're not using salt water. You're using caustic soda, sodium hydroxide.
Yeah, I know. But I saw some people using salt and making salt water.
Okay.
Sea salt and.
Yeah, I don't know about nano coating with sea salt. That's not something I've pursued, so I'm not sure what they're talking about there.
The GANS production that we were doing today is for producing the GANS that's not coating the wires. The hydroxide coats is what's used to coat the wires. Is that correct, John?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. The GANS you're producing is your energy source. It's a concentrated plasma. Okay. And when you have enough and your coils are nano coated and they're all black and beautiful, then you're going to coat them with the GANS.
And that goes back to
energy source right into the coil.
And if you get the recording of this show, right at the beginning, John explained what that was, and he explained it so eloquently that even I could probably say now what it was. But we creating the sun, and that's the energy field that I mean, in my layman's terms, the bobbins understand and convert into electricity.
I haven't watched from the beginning, but I'll watch the video.
Yeah,
I'll watch the video.
I'll have to watch the video again.
Yeah,
3 or 4 times before we get it all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to come in? Don Greenfield, David Squires, Dan, anyone?
I think everybody's gone to bed.
Thanks very much. It's been a long time. Thanks, John. Look forward to
make sure you save your chat. You're going to want to put those links. I'll put the links in the YouTube as well, but you're going to want to put those links to your XI4 page. So save your chat, Dave.
Thank you.
How do you save your chat?
Open the chat box and click Save Chat.
There you go.
Chat.
But there's some very good links in there, processes and the blueprint site and all of that stuff.
Right, there's over 200 posts in that chat room.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Good afternoon.
Have a great day in Peru, guys. We'll talk to you all next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.